See Circle Calendar, March 3, 1503. West Blue, TWA Roy Island. One of the strongholds of the Capone family, in the drawing room of a castle. In front of the round table at this time, sitting headed by Capone Big, are the 4 heads of the 5 West Blue mafia families. They were having a meeting, discussing the only family not invited. The recent expansion of the Cross family is too fast, that kid Khan will attack us sooner or later. After the death of the Valley couple, that monster boy came to power and took control of the entire Cross family smoothly. In just 5 years, he occupied 275 towns. Among the 5 major families, now the Cross family is the largest. If we don't unite, the other party will swallow our territory sooner or later. Is it useful to unite? Which of us can beat that monster? Cross Khan. It is rumored that he can stand when he was born. He can lift an adult with one hand before he is 1 year old. He has the power to destroy a house with 1 punch at the age of 5, and he has invulnerable skin. He has taken over the family since he was 6 years old at the age of 10. He even ate zone, dragon fruit, phantom beast, and dragon form. Such a powerful monster. What do we use to deal with him? It's just a rumor. Who knows if it's true or not? Even if it was an exaggeration, it is absolutely true that he is a phantom beast. Otherwise, Marine would offer a reward of 80 million for the first time when he was 6 years old to a newcomer who has not yet entered the Grand Line. A bounty of 300 million Baileys was given last year. What are you afraid of? I bought a batch of seastone recently. As long as you trap him in a seastone cage, even if that kid is called walking disaster, he will become a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Looking at the 3 patriarchs who were spraying each other, Capone Big, the initiator of this meeting, sneered secretly in his heart with a cigar in his mouth. As for why he sneered secretly, this point, probably only Capone Big himself knows. After the 3 patriarchs finished spraying each other, the patriarch who had a more aggressive personality and proposed to attack Cross Khan suddenly turned his gaze to Capone Big and asked, "Big, you are the initiator of this meeting. You any thoughts or suggestions?" Hearing this, Capone Big took out a pocket watch, looked at the time, and smiled at Kaido. "My suggestion is the same as yours, Patriarch Ken. That is to unite and find a chance to subdue Khan with the seastone net, and then lock him in the seastone cage, and throw him into the sea. In this way, even if he is really an invulnerable monster like the rumors, he will drown alive." Ha ha ha. You're right, no matter how powerful Khan is, he's just a person with abilities. Ken suddenly burst out laughing. Among the 4 families present, Capone Big and Ken, the most powerful, both chose to take the initiative. The 2 patriarchs, who were the weakest and didn't really want to offend Cross Khan, also took a sip of their cigars with pensive expressions on their faces. Cross Khan was strong, as they say, and a natural monster. Before entering the Grand Line, Marine offered a bounty of 300 million Baileys, setting a record for the highest bounty in the world. But this monster is not without weaknesses. Cross Khan is a person with abilities. As long as he has demon fruit power, he will be cursed by the sea, and he is afraid of seawater and seastone. As long as you set up a seastone to trap the opponent, maybe you can really solve this walking natural disaster, the overlord of West Blue. Thinking of this, the 2 patriarchs stopped opposing and prepared to cast their own votes. Boom. At this time, the door of the conference room was suddenly pushed open. A young man in a suit ran in and shouted in panic, "Father, it's bad. We found a giant dragon in the sky outside the island." What? Hearing this, the faces of the 4 patriarchs suddenly changed dramatically. Then the eyes of the 3 patriarchs all looked at Big angrily. The patriarch Ken, who looked down on Cross Khan just now, asked with a look of shock and anger, "Big, what is going on? Why does Cross Khan know we're here? I want to ask you guys too." Capone Big also looked angry, looked at the 3 patriarchs suspiciously, and said in a deep voice, "This meeting of mine is held in secret, and no one knows except my godson. Who is undercover by your side?" Roar. Before the 4 of them could test each other, a deafening dragon's roar, like a cannonball explosion, exploded from the ears of the 4 patriarchs. The terrifying sound waves pierced the ears of the 4 patriarchs, and they covered their ears with their hands. Even the glass of the window couldn't bear the sound waves, and they exploded together. Boom. Immediately afterwards, the loud sound of the heavy object falling to the ground reached the ears of the 4 patriarchs again. "What are you doing here? Run!" Capone Big yelled at the 3 pale patriarchs, and was the first to escape from the meeting room. When the 3 patriarchs reacted and rushed out of the meeting room, they found that Capone Big had already disappeared in the corridor and went to nowhere. Boom. Immediately, the entire castle shook violently. Then the ceiling did not collapse in this violent vibration, but was thrown out by a huge force along with half of the castle. When the ceiling disappeared, the three patriarchs looked up and saw only a huge dragon head and a pair of huge pupils staring at them. The dragon head is blue, and the pupils are narrow red vertical pupils. K. Cross Khan. Looking at the dragon head with a humanized and abusive expression on his face, Ken, who was very arrogant and confident just now, was the first to be frightened and slumped on the ground, calling out the name of this giant dragon that was as big as a castle. "It's really not easy to finally catch you three old foxes," the dragon said with a sigh. "Three?" The three of Ken and En were taken aback for a moment, then ignored their fear, and said angrily, "That guy big is actually yours?" "You guessed it right, you can die to understand." The giant dragon nodded, then raised its huge dragon claw, and slammed it down on them in the remaining half of the castle under the horrified gaze of the three patriarchs, who didn't even have time to beg for mercy. Boom! There was another deafening bang. The last half of the castle was directly turned into ruins by the dragon's claws. The size of the dragon claw is actually not particularly large, at most it is only as big as a small sailboat. But with just such a claw, half of the castle was blown away, and the remaining half of the castle was photographed in ruins. It can be seen from this that the cutting power and physical destructive power of this dragon claw are terrifying. After burying the three patriarchs and the living people in the castle with a single slap, the giant blue dragon, which was as tall as half the castle, began to shrink at a speed visible to the naked eye. After a while, the huge blue dragon turned into a boy. On the outside of the boy, he looks to be only 15 or 16 years old, but his height is 1.85 meters. Like the blue dragon head, the boy has short blue hair, red eyes, and is wearing a white suit. At this moment, the boy's body exuded a faint blue light, and his short blue hair moved without wind, and his whole body was actually floating in the air. This young man, even before entering the Grand Line, offered a reward of 80 million Baileys for the first time, and last year even gave a reward of 300 million. He is known as the Walking Natural Disaster, the recognized overlord of West Blue, and the head of the Cross family Cross Khan. Khan is a time traveler and a super lucky one. In his previous life, he was a translator of the three languages of the Grand Master. Waking up one day, Khan found that he had turned into a baby and had traveled to the world of pirates. But Khan wasn't alarmed in the slightest, because when he just opened his eyes, he could hear the voices of his parents in this world. After being touched by them, Khan can also read their memories. It is also this ability that lets him know that he has traveled to the world of pirates. And this ability is the natural observation haki, which is even rarer than Conqueror's haki. In addition, Khan, like Kazuki Oden, has the power to throw a nanny at the age of 0. Just when Khan thought his physique was at the same level as Kazuki Oden. At the age of 5, he can smash rocks and destroy a house with one punch, and his skin ignores killer bullets. Khan knows that his physique is the same as Charlotte Linlin's. In the future, he will be a Marine and will be a Marshal, and joining the CP organization will be a natural destroyer of the strongest shield of celestial dragons. Born with the template of the Red Earl and Charlotte Linlin, and the soul is an adult from another world, Khan knows that nothing in West Blue can threaten him, so he naturally shows his precocity and strength. In the case of deliberately showing talent, Khan, who was born in a gangster family, has a reputation as a natural monster, and soon spread. The ambitious father also sees Khan as the hope of dominating the West Blue. After seeing Khan's strength and invulnerability, Khan was allowed to take over the family business when he was 6 years old. And Khan did not let him down, relying on the two talents of natural observation haki and natural destroyer. The Cross family quickly became one of the largest families in West Blue from a small gangster family. But this growth rate also indirectly led to the death of Khan's parents in this life. The remnants of the power that fell in the hands of the Cross family had nothing to do with Khan, who was invulnerable, so they pointed their finger at Khan's father, who was the Wali couple that Ken mentioned. When Khan was 9 years old, when he went out to discuss business, the Valis were killed by a group of hired pirates. Their deaths also ushered in a transformation for Khan, and he no longer has any compassion for the natives of this world. All those who are enemies of the Cross family, Khan will not leave any alive. This natural monster no longer has any weaknesses. It was also this transformation that made Khan awaken the qualification of a king that only 1 in a million people can have, Conqueror's haki. Awakened Conqueror's haki at the age of 9. Looking at the entire pirate world, before the beginning of the final chapter, the only people who awakened Conqueror's haki earlier than Khan were Doflamingo and Yamato. Like Charlotte Katakuri and Potter Cass d'Ace, both of them awakened Conqueror's Haki at the age of 10. In the second year of awakening Conqueror's Haki, Khan ushered in another epic enhancement. Khan, who has the physique of a natural destroyer, although his height is not as inhuman as Charlotte Linlin, but his appetite is not weaker than Charlotte Linlin. When Khan starts to eat, he can sweep the table in the same instant as Luffy. Therefore, Khan learned another lesson when he emptied a fruit basket in a flash. Because he ate a devil fruit by mistake. For this reason, Khan was afraid for a long time. If there was not one devil fruit hidden in the fruit basket, but 2 devil fruits, wouldn't he just die like this? Since then, Khan got rid of the habit of wolfing down and began to return to the normal way of eating in his previous life. Perhaps because of the blessings that come with surviving a catastrophe, Khan found that the devil fruit he ate by mistake turned out to be a phantom beast rarer than Logia. Full name: Zone Dragon Fruit Phantom Beast Dragon Form. Yes, Dragon Fruit Phantom Beast, not Fish Fruit Phantom Beast. This difference, the dragon form that Khan transforms into, is not an oriental dragon like Kaido and Momonosuke, but a western dragon with a pair of wings. What is the difference between the phantom beast species and the common species and ancient species? The difference is that common species and ancient species are common or rare animals, just animals. Phantom beasts are mythical or legendary phantom beasts. In addition to having phantom beast bodies, they also have superpowers of phantom beasts. Khan doesn't know what kind of abilities Tianlong possesses in other worlds. But the phantom beast he ate, the Tianlong form, has a very powerful superpower. That superpower is telekinesis. With telekinesis, Khan can use telekinesis to control the wind, thunder, seawater, or float objects, just like the tornado and blowing snow in One Punch Man. As a result, Khan, who was already full of talents, stood at the end point that countless people could not reach in their entire lives since he was 10 years old. Except for special abilities, or the advanced use of armament Haki, or Conqueror's entanglement, no one can break through his defenses through physical attacks. Once Khan transforms, he is a walking natural disaster that can create hurricanes and set off waves. Between the ages of 10 and 15, Khan only took dragon form twice. The second time is today. The first time was last year when 5 warships were destroyed, and the Marine and CP agents who tried to tie him and his personal maid back to Marie Joyce were wiped out. No one knew about this incident, but after the incident, Marine offered Khan a second bounty, raising the bounty to 300 million Baileys, breaking West Blue's bounty record. Before Khan, no one in West Blue or even in the world had such an exaggerated bounty before entering the Grand Line. Even if it is the evil generation of the later Sea Circle calendar in 1520, excluding Blackbeard, a monster that was incorporated later, only 2 supernovas, Luffy and Kid, had a bounty exceeding 300 million. Khan's bounty, even after more than 10 years, is still among the top 3 supernova levels. In this era, no matter how many years Khan enters the Grand Line, he will be the #1 supernova in this session. When Marine gave this bounty last year, Khan once caused a sensation all over the world. The original Ace, before entering the New World, caused a sensation all over the world in the first half of the Grand Line. Khan is even more exaggerated than him. Before entering the Grand Line, he caused a sensation all over the world. When various forces began to investigate Khan, they fell into silence for a while. Among them, Marine and CP organizations are included. If it was someone else, if he dared to wipe out 5 warships and a large number of Marines and agents, the world government and naval headquarters would definitely launch a buster call against him. But since last year, Khan has never been harassed by Marine and CP. Although there are a large number of people in the territory he ruled, they are all undercover agents arranged by the CP organization. But neither Marine nor CP agents dared to fight Khan. A born destroyer like Charlotte Linlin, who also ate Zone Phantom Beast, what kind of concept is this? As we all know, any devil fruit is inseparable from physical strength. The physical strength of the pirate world is equivalent to that of chakra in the Hokage world. The physique of a natural destroyer is equivalent to the body of a fairy in the Hokage world, and he was born as Chatinla. If the superpower of phantom beasts is the forbidden technique in the Hokage world, then Khan who has Chatinla is just like Uzumaki Naruto, using forbidden technique is as easy as eating. That said, others need to grow, Khan doesn't. In the face of this kind of monster that can fly, can create hurricanes with telekinetic power, and set off waves, unless Admiral is dispatched, sending more troops will only increase unnecessary casualties. Even if Admiral is dispatched, it may not be able to catch the flying dragon. In this era, Admiral is still Zephyr and Sengoku. The next 3 admirals are just vice admirals. Therefore, although Khan has become a great threat, Marine and the CP organization did not dare to continue to attack him. And this is just the Marine and CP organization. Only the investigation found that Khan has a physique like Charlotte Linlin, and that he ate phantom beasts that are rarer than Logia. They didn't know that, in addition to the templates of Charlotte Linlin and Kaido, Khan also had the template of the Red Earl, and had a natural observation haki. Moreover, this natural observation haki, after being fused with telekinesis, makes Khan's observation haki, like Enel, the only existence. In addition to hurricanes and waves, Khan actually has a stronger hole card hidden. This is a monster that has caused the Overlord of the Sea to feel extremely headache before entering the Grand Line. Rumbling. Khan, who was floating in the air, raised his right hand emitting blue light slightly. The ruins in front suddenly shook violently. Pieces of gravel, large or small, were wrapped in a layer of blue light film, and then floated up free of gravity. After a while, several men whose whole bodies were protected by blue masks floated out of the ruins. When their feet touched the ground, the blue masks on their bodies disappeared. And these men in suits are Capone Beeg, who has disappeared, as well as his godson and personal guard. Boss. Coming to the floating Khan, Capone Beeg bowed his head respectfully and greeted him. Thank you, Beeg. With his hands in his pockets, Khan said to Capone Beeg, those 3 old foxes are dead, and their family will be leaderless in the future. This is the best time to take action against them, and it is also my final test for you. I'll be leaving West Blue in a bit, and hopefully next time I come back, you've unified the West Blue gang. I won't let you down, boss. Capone Beeg looked up at Khan with wild eyes. Khan nodded, then took out an envelope and threw it to Capone Beeg, and continued. The relationship between you and me is unknown, and there are a large number of undercover agents on the sites where I planted flags. Among them are the 3 major organizations under the world government. There are a lot of CP agents, they can't get into my ship. They can only pretend to be weak on those sites, and collect information about me every time while paying the protection fee. The list in this envelope is the names and identities of those undercover agents. I will announce that I will enter the Grand Line when I get back. After you lead the Capone family to swallow up the territory where the Cross family picked up the flag, if you find these undercover agents are still there, you can keep an eye on them. Try not to expose our relationship. If you encounter unsolvable problems, you can use the phone bug to contact me. Capone Beeg nodded with a serious face. Yes, boss. Be careful, don't die. After leaving a last word, the blue light on Khan's body suddenly became dazzling. Then a blue streamer rose into the sky, and Khan flew away from the island. Capone Beeg, a member of the original The Wicked Generation. He was recruited by Khan when he was 6 years old. That year was only Sea Circle calendar 1494, and Capone Beeg was still a 14-year-old boy. In order for someone to protect his parents in this world after he left West Blue, Khan decided to raise Capone Beeg secretly. After the parents in this world were killed, Khan did not stop cultivating Capone Beeg. However, the subsequent training is different from the previous one. The previous training was to make Capone Beeg the bodyguard of the parents in this world. The subsequent training is to make Capone Beeg his money-making machine. Apart from Khan's personal maid, the relationship between the two is also known to Capone Bega's godson and 2 personal guards. Khan, who can read people's hearts, also knows that Capone Beeg, his godson, and personal guards are all trustworthy. Even if the loyalty of Capone Beeg deteriorates in the future, Khan can get rid of him as easily as a sigh of relief. Since the death of his parents in this life, he has no memory of this sea area. When it comes to the Grand Line, Khan will redevelop the Cross family to a level far beyond the Don Quixote family. After flying dozens of nautical miles out of Tor Royally Island, Khan saw a sailboat on the sea and landed immediately. This sailboat is blue and white, with a blue dragon head on the bow, and a medium-sized 2-masted sailboat whose flag is also Tianlong. This sailing ship is the main ship of the Cross family, the Grantania. At the same time, it is also the headquarters of the Cross family. Since the death of her parents in this life, Khan has left the island where she grew up and embarked on a voyage of sailing flags everywhere. Since there were only 2 people on the ship, those agents who wanted to go undercover into the Cross family would not be able to get on the Grandine. This is why 5 warships were wiped out last year. Unable to go undercover to Khan's side, they had no choice but to use violence to achieve their goals. Master, has the matter over there been resolved? When Khan landed on the deck, his feet just hit the ground. A pleasant female voice came to my ears immediately. I saw the girl sitting on the sun lounger reading a book under the sun umbrella near the starboard side of the boat, got up and walked towards him. The girl is petite and looks only 11 or 12 years old. She has long hair in a black shawl, beautiful blue and black eyes, and is wearing a black and white maid outfit. She was picked up by Khan 2 years ago and is now his personal maid. At the age of 8, she was offered a reward of 79 million Baileys, son of the devil, Nico Robin. Robin is 11 years old and she met Khan when she was 9. After a year of betrayal and hunting, Robin was wary of everyone, including Khan. However, after being picked up by Khan and keeping her by his side to train her for a period of time, and seeing Khan's strength at the tip of the iceberg and his huge wealth, Robin, whose heart has not been completely closed, quickly let go of his vigilance. After Khan destroyed 5 warships for her, himself, last year, Robin, like Monet next to Doflamingo, completely changed into the shape of Khan. Robin firmly believes that Khan is what Saul said, willing to protect her partner, master. Ah. Everything has been resolved. Khan nodded and said with a smile, "You can call now and tell those rats that we are leaving West Blue soon." "I see." Robin nodded slightly, then took out the phone bug he was carrying with him, and told a newspaper in West Blue that the Cross family had marched into the Grand Line and that the flags could be lifted from those sites. "Waiting until tomorrow, I believe that people from West Blue, and even some forces in Grand Line who have been paying attention to Khan, will know that the super rookie with a bounty of 300 million is about to enter the Grand Line. The property of the Cross family seems to be very large, ruling 275 towns, which is even more exaggerated than the 150 towns of Bartolomeo in the original book. Just collecting protection fees for these 275 towns allows Khan to earn a lot of money every year. The asylum of the West Blue Overlord has allowed more and more towns that either belong to the territory of the franchise country or have no protection from the franchise country to actively send money to Khan. But in fact, the annual income of the Cross family is only protection fees. The Cross family is the only gangster family among the 5 major families that does not engage in the arms business. Of course, this is what other people know about the Cross family on the bright side. In fact, after the death of Khan's parents in this world, he gave the original base camp to the elders of the family and destroyed the family's munitions base. In fact, he secretly asked Capone Beg to evacuate the Cross family's munitions base. Destroying the base is just to deceive those undercover agents. It is also because of taking over the arms business of the Cross family, the Capone family of Capone Beg, with the secret support of Khan, quickly became one of the 5 major families of West Blue. Khan, who didn't want to take advantage of those undercover agents, had already transferred all the most valuable things to the Capone family. The cash is stored on the Curry side of the Grandine. After Khan leaves West Blue, the towns under his protection will automatically take off his flag. Khan actually lost nothing except losing the huge annual protection fee. Once the Capones grow, unite the West Blue gang, and replant flags on those turf, what Khan lost will come back. Still the same sentence, Khan has long since had no memory of West Blue. All he wanted was to enter the Grand Line and become one of the overlords of that great sea. Just as Robin was on the phone, Khan's body surface emitted a dazzling blue light again. As he raised his hands, the Grandine was wrapped in a telekinetic hood, floating into the air defying gravity, and flew towards the entrance of West Blue's Grand Line. In order to increase the speed, Khan also used telekinesis to control the wind to increase the speed of the sailboat. As a traveler, Khan knew that Sea Circle calendar 1503 was a very meaningful year. If time catches up, Khan may recruit his deputy this year. To become one of the overlords in the Grand Line, in addition to having top-level strength, you also need to have top-level influence. Top personal strength combined with top forces as the so-called overlord. If Khan wants to develop the Cross family to a level far beyond the Don Quixote family, he must recruit a large number of family members and have many affiliated forces like the Capone family. In this way, he was able to snatch a piece of cake from the mouths of the 3 monsters in the strongest sea in the second half of the Grand Line. In order not to let his deputy be snatched, Khan must race against the clock. That monster kid, has he finally entered the Grand Line? Marineford, Marshal's office. Kong, who has not yet become the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, looked at today's newspaper and felt a little headache. Having a physique like Big Mom, and eating phantom beasts that are rarer than Logia, this combination of 2 monsters, if it is not resolved as soon as possible, sooner or later it will become a threat like Whitebeard. It's too late. Sengoku, who stayed at the headquarters, shook his head and said, when he became famous as West Blue at the age of 6, it was actually the best time. It's a pity that at that time, both our Marine and the CP organization focused their attention on the Luogia pirates. After all, Charlotte Linlin, who also has the physique of a natural destroyer, failed to threaten the status of Luogia, Whitebeard, Golden Lion, and Red Earl at that time, so everyone didn't pay attention to that kid. After we got rid of the Luogia pirates, the CP organization paid attention to that brat. It's a pity that at that time, the other party had already eaten Zone Dragon Fruit Phantom Beast Sky Dragon form, and possessed a telekinesis similar to Paramecia Lion Fruit. Natural destroyers already have the world's top physical fitness, and one of the characteristics of phantom beasts is to enhance the physical fitness of the capable person to the greatest extent, endowing the capable person with strong resilience and endurance. Combining the two, that kid named Cross Khan, even if he is only 10 years old, can lift objects of astonishing weight with telekinetic power. On land, his mental power can create a hurricane and lift a mountain. On the sea, his mental power can not only easily lift 5 warships, but also create multiple waterspouts, and even lift countless tons of seawater create a tsunami. There is also the power of a giant, the defense of invulnerability, the physical strength of the vast sea, the flying ability of a dragon, and the conqueror's haki that was determined last year. At the end, Sengoku sighed slightly. Such a monster, if Ishin wants to escape, even I am not sure to keep him, unless I join forces with Garp. Sengoku's evaluation of Khan is not low. The last person to bring Sengoku and Garp together was Golden Lion, Shiki. And Golden Lion is one of the 4 legends of the last era, the first big pirate to escape from the deep sea prison. In Sengoku's eyes, the 15-year-old Khan is already as threatening as a legendary pirate. Forget it. Never mind. After listening to Sengoku's words, Kong first frowned, and then put on a rogue look and said, "Anyway, the Devil's Son is on that kid's boat, and the CP organization is in charge of the Devil's Son. Let them have a headache." Sengoku looked at Kong speechlessly for a while. "Marshal Sora, if His Excellency 5 Elders hears your words, you will be in trouble. What are you afraid of?" Kong suddenly looked at Sengoku jokingly, and joked, "In a few years, I will abdicate. If you don't find a chance to deal with this kid, after he becomes a huge threat like Whitebeard, it's not just CP who will have a headache did organize." Sengoku. It's not just Marine Admiral and Marine Admiral talking about Khan. On this day, the major forces in the front and rear half of the Grand Line, and even the whole world are discussing Khan. Because the news of Khan's entry into the Grand Line was published on the headline of the future world's #1 newspaper, Shi Jingbao, and spread all over the world. Anyone who buys today's Shi Jingbao will be able to see on the headline, there is a line of bold headlines, which reads, "The strongest supernova in history, the man with 2 monster templates, walking calamity, Cross Khan." The cover image of Toutiao is a photo of 3 people. They are Walking Scourge, Cross Khan, Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin, and Beasts, Kaido. Underneath the photo is the text that takes up an entire page. These texts describe Khan's rumors in detail, and introduce all abilities except the natural observation haki. Only those who read the news discovered that the boy who caused a sensation in the world last year was a born monster. Able to stand at birth, able to lift an adult before 1 year old, and even more so at 5 years old, with infinite strength and invulnerability. He started to take over the family's gangster business at the age of 6, ate phantom beasts rarer than Logia at the age of 10, and ruled more than 200 towns in West Blue at the age of 15. Moreover, the characteristics of infinite strength and invulnerability turned out to be the same natural destroyer as the long-famous pirate queen, Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin. The fruit ability is also the same kind of phantom beast as 100 Beasts, Kaido. With such potential, it's no wonder that this boy was offered a reward of 300 million Baileys before he entered the Grand Line. Cross Khan, who has 2 monster templates, as long as he does not die while growing up, or is not captured, sooner or later he will become a big pirate no less than Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin and Beasts, Kaido. You know, with the death of Luogia, the Golden Lion's withdrawal from the world's strongest stage, and the arrest of the Red Earl, Whitebeard is already the king of the sea in this era of great pirates. Under Whitebeard, the 2 most prestigious pirates are Charlotte Linlin and Kaido. According to the development speed of these 2 people, Charlotte Linlin and Kaido will become the overlords no less than Whitebeard in a few years. At that time, New World will enter a 3-legged situation. As for Cross Khan, a super rookie with 2 overlord templates, once he fulfills all his talents, he will definitely exist as an overlord in the future. They are witnessing the future pirate overlord, officially starting a voyage around the Grand Line. Under the praise of Shi Jingbao, Khan has just entered the Grand Line and has become the most dazzling supernova. The strongest supernova in history. On the lawn deck of the Grandine, Khan was sitting on a single sofa, holding the black tea made by Robin in one hand, and today's Shijingbao in the other. Just glanced at the title casually, and Khan threw away the newspaper, complaining. That Birdman really dares to write anything for the sake of sales. Aren't you afraid of offending two people at once? The strongest supernova in history, Khan is not worthy of this title. It wasn't long before One Piece started the final chapter before he crossed. As of that time period, the strongest supernova in history was the Queen of Pirates, Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin. The other party was offered a reward of 50 million Baileys when he was 6 years old, and it rose to 500 million Baileys a few years later. A few years generally refers to more than 3 years and no more than 10 years. In other words, when Charlotte Linlin's bounty rises to 500 million Baileys, she will be no more than 15 years old at most, and it may be earlier. Khan is also 15 years old this year, but his 300 million bounty in West Blue is not comparable to Charlotte Linlin's 500 million bounty in New World. Morgan's blind praise can easily offend people. If it weren't for the time when Charlotte Linlin became famous, it would be the era when the rocks hadn't reached the top. Not only is the era of the rocks over now, but the era of Luogia is also over. The Morgan's newspaper will not only offend Charlotte Linlin and Khan, but will also be ridiculed by the world. And now, this newspaper only offends Charlotte Linlin, and it also fills Khan with hatred. Khan could almost imagine that as long as he landed on the island, those guys who wanted to be famous would do everything possible to assassinate him. Very simple reason. As long as I kill the world's strongest man, then I will be the new world's strongest. Similarly, as long as I kill the strongest supernova in history, then I will be the new strongest supernova in history. Unless Khan proves himself on the Grand Line, those idiots will keep bugging him. Of course, fame is also a good thing. Khan now only needs to go to a place with a lot of people, raise his arms and shout, and he can quickly form a large ship group of thousands of people. But he won't do that. Not to mention how much it costs to feed thousands of people every day. Such a large fleet is just like the 5,000-man fleet of the Krieg pirates. Once they encounter a superpower like Hawkeye, the other party just kills the time and can destroy the group with a few knives. Master, here are the things. Just after Khan finished complaining, Robin came to him with a small wooden box in both hands. Taking the small wooden box handed over, Khan opened it. There are 10 glass balls inside, 3 of which are ordinary record hands and 7 of which are eternity hands. West Blue, North Blue, and South Blue are all different from East Blue, which is the weakest sea. The former has a large number of pirates entering the Grand Line every year, while the latter is afraid of the Grand Line and calls it the graveyard of pirates. The 30 million bounty of later generations has already broken the bounty record of East Blue. In the remaining 3 sea areas, big pirates with a bounty of more than 50 million, or even nearly 100 million bounties, will appear every year. Therefore, the Grand Line is not a mysterious place for West Blue. After the death of his parents in this life, Khan decided to enter the Grand Line. If it weren't for training Capone, Big and Robin, Khan would have flown into the Grand Line alone at the age of 10. These 10 glass balls were also bought by Khan when he was 10 years old. And now is the time to use them. Taking out one of the glass balls, Khan placed it on the tea table in front, and then waved his hand. Call. As the blue thought power emerged, the gust of wind suddenly hit the open canvas. The Grandine, which was moving slowly, suddenly increased in speed, advancing rapidly like an arrow piercing through the air. The capital of 7 waters. Master, are we going to remodel the Grandine? Glancing at the letters on the eternity pointer, Robin asked curiously. No, I'm going to the Sabaody Archipelago. Khan replied, choose the 7 waters because it's one of the 7 islands closest to the Sabaody Archipelago. Hearing this, Robin nodded suddenly. She didn't ask Khan what he was doing in Sabaody Archipelago, but picked up the teapot and filled Khan's cup with black tea. Then stood behind Khan, hands crossed in front of his chest. The petals appeared out of thin air, formed several arms and grew on the sofa, and began to help Khan rub his shoulders, beat his legs, and press his head. And Khan also closed his eyes, enjoying Robin's massage skills. After the lunch break, Khan began to guide Robin to practice. In his previous life, he was a hopeless maid connoisseur. After picking up Robin, he determined to train Robin to be an almighty maid. As one of the brightest women on the sea, Robin did not disappoint Khan. In 2 years, she has become a very good maid. The Grandine is a medium-sized brig with a length of more than 100 meters, it has 5 cabins, 3 floors below and 2 floors above. With such a large sailboat, it takes a lot of time just to clean it. But Khan didn't hire anyone else to go on board, and he and Robin were able to handle all the housework. Psychic power plus natural observation hockey plus paramecia flower fruit. Let Khan and Robin sit on the deck and chat, and you can clean the entire sailboat. In addition to omnipotent housework, Robin's strength has also surpassed himself at the beginning of the original story. Yes, Robin, who is 11 years old this year, has surpassed her 28-year-old self in strength. In just 2 years, such a huge change has ushered in. Of course, it is Khan's credit. The Traverser is Khan's secret, and the natural observation hockey is Khan's secret hole card. No matter how close the relationship is, Khan will never tell the other party his identity as a time traveler. Similarly, Khan will not reveal his natural observation hockey, which has the ability to read people's hearts, unless he is discovered. Reading minds has 2 abilities. One is to read memory. As long as you touch the target's body, you can read the other party's memory. The more memory read, the more hockey will be consumed. In the game, this is an active skill. The second is to see through people's hearts. All targets that appear in Khan's vision and perception range, no matter what they are thinking, will be read by Khan. The consumption of this ability is very weak, almost negligible. Therefore, this is a passive ability that is turned on for 24 hours. With this secret trump card, Khan easily discovered the undercover agent of the Cross family. This is why Khan left the island where he grew up. These undercover agents kill a batch and another batch will come again. He didn't want to kill those veterans, so he simply didn't give those undercover agents a chance, and drove the Grandine to plant flags everywhere. When collecting protection fees a few years ago, Khan found a good CP agent. Therefore, Khan decisively took action to get rid of him, read the memory of the agent, and obtained the training method of Marine 6 styles. The reason why Robin surpassed his 28-year-old self at the age of 11 is because he practiced Marine 6 styles. Although she hasn't mastered all of them yet, she is now a little Superman who has mastered 1.5 moves. With the help of telekinetic wind control, the Grandine arrived at the capital of 7 waters from Reversing Mountain in just 7 days. That's an incredible speed. Even if it is a large sailing ship with 3 masts, it will take at least half a month to go from Reversing Mountain to the capital of 7 waters without going to the island for supplies along the way. The Grandine was only a medium-sized sailing ship with 2 masts, but it only took half the time of a large sailing ship. It can be seen from this that what kind of speed the Grandine is advancing. In this age of sail, the power of the wind is too important. In Logia Devil Fruit, Logia Fengfeng Fruit must also be the top devil fruit. Robin, go and see if there is a black market stronghold on this island. After the Grandine broke down, Khan and Robin rented a blue and came to the central street of the capital of 7 waters. In order to train Robin, Khan did not release his unique observation hockey, but said to Robin, who was holding a metal box in both hands. "Yes, master." Robin nodded slightly in response. The two came to the most luxurious hotel on Central Street and opened a most exclusive suite. After putting the metal box in the suite, Robin greeted Khan and left the hotel to collect information. Khan sat on the sofa on the balcony, releasing the innate observation hockey that combines telekinesis. Similar to Enel's heart network, it can not only eavesdrop on conversations, but also read the perception of the heart, which immediately enveloped the entire capital of 7 waters. Not only that, Khan is also like a god, able to use telekinetic power to control all objects within the range of perception. If someone sneaks aboard the Grandine, Khan can lift the thief up with just a thought. Or roll up the stone, use telekinesis to eliminate the friction between the air and the stone, and let the stone penetrate the thief's body at the speed of a sniper bullet. That's why Khan broke down so reassuringly, leaving Robin alone to gather intel. As long as he doesn't meet a super strong man who has reached the peak of mind, skill and body, Khan has absolute confidence and can protect the Grandine and Robin from a long distance. In the past 2 years, Robin has a good understanding of Khan's other abilities except that he doesn't know his master's observation hockey, which can read people's hearts. Robin also knew that Khan would secretly protect her. Except, Robin isn't relying on Khan's ultra-long-range protection. After leaving the hotel, Robin bought a mask with the local characteristics of the capital of 7 waters. It covered some baby fat and still recognized him as the son of the devil, who was offered a reward of 79 million Baileys at the age of 8. Cute little face. Then walk around the central street, secretly cross your hands on your chest, use the fruit ability to peek into the pictures in some dark alleys, and see if there are signs of the black market. In the pirate world, Any force will have its own logo, including the world government that has ruled the world for 800 years. If you want to know if there is a black market in a city, you only need to go to its most prosperous place and see if there is a black market sign. This is common sense in the dark world. As a world-recognized shipbuilding holy land, whether it is a pirate or a marine, it is the capital of 7 waters that will come to buy and build ships. Of course, there are also black market strongholds. Soon, Robin found the sign of the black market in a certain alley. She did not raise her head and report to Khan in the air, but returned to the hotel suite and reported to Khan in person. Thanks for your hard work. Looking at Robin, whose small face became serious after entering the working state, Khan couldn't help pinching her small face. Master. Sorry, it's all Robin's fault that you look so cute. Khan apologized without sincerity. Robin looked at Khan slightly speechless. For this seriousness, he will become more precocious than her, almost like an experienced adult. But childish, he doesn't look like a 15-year-old boy, but more like the master of a kid of a few years old. Robin is really loving and helpless. Fortunately, it was not the first time that Robin was harassed by Khan when reporting to work. At first, he would blush shyly, but now, Robin just touched his pinched face and asked, "Master, are you going to the black market now?" "What?" Khan nodded, stood up and said, "I hope the black market here can bring me a little surprise." Hearing this, Robin didn't ask what the surprise was. Just as she didn't ask why Khan had just entered the Grand Line and went to the Sabaody Archipelago at the end of the first half. A qualified maid only needs to faithfully carry out the master's orders. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, don't say what you shouldn't say. When the master wanted to say something, she naturally knew it. It has to be said that Robin's smart mind and calm personality can quickly become an elite in this field no matter what profession he does, except for the temporary lack of force. In just 2 years, she had become the perfect maid Khan had dreamed of in her previous life. Walking out of the hotel, Khan and Robin came to the door with the black market sign. Thump thump as the knock on the door sounded, the people inside quickly opened the door. A fat middle-aged man in a black suit appeared in the eyes of Khan and Robin. The other party was also carefully looking at Khan and Robin, and then a look of astonishment flashed in his eyes, and his attitude instantly became enthusiastic. "Welcome, distinguished guests. Please come in." After that, he raised his hand sideways to signal. It is not difficult to see through this action that the middle-aged man recognized Khan's identity. Khan, who read the other person's heart with his penetrating heart, led Robin in without changing his face. Then the middle-aged man went out to look around, suddenly took off the black market sign at the door, locked the door, and brought Khan and Robin to the living room on the 2nd floor. Each black market has its own style, and it is not uniformly dark and dirty, nor is it necessarily a smoky place. For example, this black market is a residence with a simple appearance and gorgeous interior decoration, and there are only middle-aged people in it. If it weren't for the sign of the black market hanging at the door, who would know that this is one of the strongholds of the black market? After inviting Khan and Robin to the living room on the 2nd floor, the middle-aged man took out red wine and tea, entertained Khan, and asked, "Master Khan, I wonder what you need." "Yes, not what you want to buy, but what you need." Avoid being robbed by some idiots. There are very few black markets that put goods in the stronghold. Most of the strongholds are guest houses. They try to do business with customers, and after paying the money, they send things to the pier. If the customer needs something that is not available in this base, then it will be transferred from other bases. "I want information." Khan glanced at Robin, who took the initiative to pick up the red wine and started to sober up, looked at the middle-aged man and said, "I want to know. I want to know, how many auctions are there in Sabaody Archipelago? How many auctions are held in a year, regardless of size? Can you get me a list of auctions?" Khan spoke out the information he wanted to know in one breath. "Understood. Please wait a moment." The middle-aged man nodded, then got up and left the living room. In Khan's perception, the middle-aged man walked into a room and took out a phone bug, as if he was contacting someone. So, Khan put away the perception. Although he can read people's hearts, he can prostitute the information he wants to know for nothing. But in his capacity, he still can't do such outrageous things. The middle-aged man didn't keep Khan waiting long. After a while, he went back to the living room and sat down, opened his fingers to Khan and said, "This information costs 5 million Baileys. Can?" Khan nodded to Robin, who was sober. Robin immediately opened the metal box he carried with him, took out 5 stacks of Baileys with a denomination of 10,000 yuan, and placed them on the coffee table. The middle-aged man took Bailey and did not immediately count the money, but told the information Khan wanted, The Sabaody Archipelago has only one auction house, and it is located on island number 1 in the illegal zone. The owner of the auction house is currently unknown, but it is said that the background is celestial dragons, and no one has dared to make trouble on it. This auction house holds auctions every month, but they are all small-scale auctions. Only at the end of the season, the auction house will hold a larger auction. That is to say, there will be a larger scale auction every 3 months, and there will be 4 auctions of this level every year. After finishing speaking, the middle-aged man took out a list that he had faxed from nowhere, handed it to Khan, and explained. The above information is relatively cheap. The reason why the charges are so expensive this time is that this month happens to be March. In 10 days or so, it will be the first large-scale auction this year, and we need to spend a lot of money to get this list. Understandable. Khan nodded, took the list and began to read it. After a while, as if he had found what he wanted, the corner of Khan's mouth twitched slightly. Pleasant cooperation. Putting away the list, Khan got up, picked up the red wine, and clinked glasses with the middle-aged man. After drinking the red wine, Khan will leave with Robin. Wait a minute, Mr. Khan. At this time, the middle-aged man stopped Khan, handed him a card, and said, "This is the membership card of our base, please accept it. On this card, there is the contact information of our stronghold. As long as you are in the first half of the Grand Line, no matter what you need, and if we have anything, we can deliver it to you." Hearing this, Khan took the card. "Then I won't be polite. Take care." Walking out of the dark alley where the black market is located, Khan seemed to be in a good mood. Looking at Robin, who was carrying a metal box next to him with a silent face, Khan asked with a smile, "Robin, are you very curious?" "A little." Robin answered honestly, and looked at Khan with doubts. "Master, did you receive the news in advance, knowing that Sabaody Archipelago will auction off what you want, but you are not sure, so you came to the black market to buy information?" Bingo. Seeing Robin with a puzzled face and slightly tilted head, Khan couldn't help pinching her face again, and said with a smile, "I'll tell you when I go back to the hotel." "Master, can you not touch girls' faces without washing your hands?" Robin said helplessly. Sorry. Can't help it." Khan apologized again insincerely. The two returned to the hotel, and Khan told Robin the reason he had already prepared. "At the end of last month, my hockey, which is integrated with telekinetics, overheard a message from a group of human traffickers. The news is that a group of human traffickers in the Grand Line actually abducted the 9-snake warrior from Daughter Island. The gang of human traffickers will most likely send the 9-snake warriors to the Sabaody Archipelago for auction. So, I'm going to try my luck and see if I can cut them off." Good. Khan chose to enter the Grand Line this year to intercept the 3 Huboya sisters. And Boa Hancock is Khan's chosen deputy, 9-snake warriors? After listening to Khan's words, Robin asked, "Could it be that they are very powerful to make Master come all the way here?" "You can say it this way." Khan nodded and said, "The 9-snake pirates is one of the oldest pirate groups in the world, and it has been passed down for hundreds of years. And every captain of the 9-snake pirates is the king of the Amazon Lily Kingdom, on Daughter Island, without exception. If you want to be king, you must master the Conqueror's hockey. Those Hydra warriors who go to sea with the king must master the 2-color hockey. So the 9-snake pirates is also a big pirate group that all members master hockey." After a slight pause in his tone, Khan looked at the expression on his face, as if he guessed Robin who was the main reason for his beheading, and continued, "The crew of the 9-snake pirates have one thing in common, that is, they are all young women. In this legendary country, their hockey system is very perfect, allowing young women to quickly master 2-color hockey. As long as you cut them off, it will not only complement the armament hockey that I lack, but also allow you to master the power of hockey as quickly as possible." "I see, Master." Robin nodded slightly, no more doubts in his heart. Let's go to eat, and then take a walk around the capital of 7 waters to relax." Khan got up, subconsciously wanting to pinch Robin's little face again. Then, thinking of Robin's words, he patted her head instead, rubbed her black hair, and walked towards the door. Robin was too lazy to complain. After tidying up her hair, she followed behind with a metal box. For the following week, both Khan and Robin were on vacation in the capital of 7 waters, respite from a half-month voyage. After the magnetic power was full, the two returned to the Grandine, weighed anchor and sailed, and set off towards the Sabaody Archipelago. 2 days later, with the help of telekinetic wind control, the Grandine quickly passed through the Devil's Triangle and arrived at the Sabaody Archipelago. Its sea circle calendar 1503 and Gecko Moria has not yet moved into the Devil's Triangle. When he was in West Blue, Khan also looked for Piranha who ate the Paramecia ghost fruit, but unfortunately he never found it. Therefore, when the Grandine passed through the Devil's Triangle, it didn't stop at all. After coming to the Sabaody Archipelago, Khan did not park the sailboat in the port this time, or on a certain coast. When there was still a long distance from the Sabaody Archipelago, Khan used telekinetic power to prop up the Grandine and flew to the White Sea at an altitude of 7,000 meters. Putting the Grandine on top of a cloud that was not seawater but jelly-like, Khan wrapped himself and Robin in a telekinetic shield, and landed on the Sabaody Archipelago from the White Sea. Yes, just like Aokiji's Logia frozen fruit, Khan is not afraid of seawater. As long as the whole body is not submerged in seawater before using the telekinetic power, Khan's telekinetic shield can separate the seawater. Even in the form of a dragon, Khan can still swim in the sea covered with mind force waves. When his strength reaches the peak, he can compete with Kaido for the title of the strongest creature in the sea, land and air. Khan put the Grandine at an altitude of 7,000 meters to prevent accidents and could not take it away. As a time traveler, Khan knew who the three Boya sisters were photographed. If you can't intercept the three Boya sisters in advance, you need to compete with the celestial dragons. According to the character of celestial dragons, the possibility of conflict between the two sides is very high. Once you hurt or kill the celestial dragons, Marine will definitely send Admiral over. At this time, Admiral is still Sengoku and Zephyr. Kizaru, the fastest of the next three admirals, is Sengoku's deputy. Khan was not sure if Sengoku would send Kizaru to hold him back. Therefore, he sent the Grandine to the White Sea in advance, and after killing the three Boya sisters, he could fly away with them. As long as it flies above the White Sea, even if Marine sends Kizaru, it will not be able to catch up with Khan. After all, no matter how fast Kizaru is, he is also afraid of seawater. Master, shall we leave Island 1 now? At this time, Khan and Robin made a simple disguise. The former is wearing a black cloak, with short blue hair and part of his face, all covered by a hood. Robin is still in black and white maid outfit, but with a veil on his face. Hearing this, Khan shook his head. It's not suitable during the day, first find a place to live, and then act at night. If it is other places, with Khan's strength, there is no need to be so cautious, just push across. That's what Khan did when he planted the flag at the West Blue. Even if he stood still, those West Blue pirates with a bounty of nearly 100 million would not be able to hurt a single hair of his body. And Khan only needs to punch out, just like Kaido's thundering 8 trigrams, it can kill all the miscellaneous fish that have not comprehended the internal destruction in seconds. But Grand Line is not West Blue, and Sabaody Archipelago is a very special location. On it is the world government that ruled the world for 800 years, and next to it is the naval headquarters, which maintains the order of the sea and represents justice. There are very few people in this world who can hurt Khan, but in these two places, there are at least double digits of people who can break through the defense of Khan's natural destroyer. Khan didn't want to go head-to-head with them until he was fully fledged. When he becomes popular, Khan will be like Kaido in later generations, as crazy as he wants. Yes, Khan said that he is not cowardly, he is just following his heart. Sabaody Archipelago has a total of 79 islands, which can be roughly divided into 6 regions. Number 1 to number 29 is the illegal area, where villains such as human traffickers, bounty hunters, treasure hunters, killers, and pirates are active. Number 30 to number 39 are civilian areas and commercial areas. As the name suggests, they are areas where local residents and tourists are mainly active. Places such as the original Soap Bubble Park, Shopping Street, and Civilian Street are all in this area. Numbers 40 to 49 are tourist areas and souvenir shops. Number 50 to number 59 is the port area, where shipyards and coating shops are located. Number 60 to number 69 is the area under the jurisdiction of Marine. World government officials, rich people and businessmen who borrow Marie Joys to enter and exit New World are all active in this area. Number 70 and number 79 are hotel streets, where most outsiders will spend the night. If Khan wants to find a place to live temporarily, he needs to go to the hotel street in the 6th area. But Khan is in no rush to go to the 6th area immediately, because the location where they landed is the 3rd area. So, Khan and Robin strolled around the 3rd area for a while. Then I rented a 2-person bubble car, and went to the specialty store in the 4th area to buy some specialties I needed. Khan has a few things to buy. One is the material for making life cards, which is one of the specialties of New World. The first half of the Grand Line can only be bought in Sabaody Archipelago in the Fishmen Island. The second is Coral Bubble, which is a specialty of Sabaody Archipelago in the Fishmen Island, which can create a bubble similar to a telekinetic hood. Unless it is physical damage, even the deep sea pressure below 10,000 meters cannot squeeze the bubbles. The third is the manufacturing material of the Eternal Pointer. Just like the lifeguard, the Eternal Pointer can also be made. Members of the Luogia pirates once secretly made Raftel's Eternal Pointer, which was discovered by Luogia and thrown into the sea, and then found by Douglas Bullet from the stomach of sea kings. After Khan finished buying these 3 items, the sky was already shrouded in darkness. Khan rode a bubble car and drove Robin to the hotel street in the 6th area, and opened a suite in a relatively luxurious hotel. When the time came to the early morning, Khan, who had already eaten and drank enough and played cards with Robin in the room, finally started to act. He and Robin simply disguised themselves and left the hotel with the metal box. After arriving at a place where there was no one, Khan used telekinetic power to support Robin, and the two flew at low altitude in the night, and it took only about half an hour to arrive at island number 1 in the first area. "You wait for me here, I'll be back soon." Landing under a towering tree, Khan instructed Robin. Robin nodded slightly, and walked into the shadow of the tree hole. And Khan's figure is like a ghost, disappearing without warning. By the time Khan reappeared, he had sneaked into a huge building with all lights out. This building is the auction house of island number 1. Just like the auction house held by Doflamingo in later generations. The auction house during this period also mainly auctioned off slaves. Because the nobles in this world, whether they are small nobles or world nobles, all like slaves. Their way of comparison is also to show off their slaves. Therefore, Sabaody Archipelago, the back garden of celestial dragons, is also the place with the most traffickers. There are even more human trafficker groups than bounty hunter groups. Even bounty hunters can't get along anymore, and they will compete with human traffickers for business. This has led to the fact that pretty girls dare not enter the illegal area of the first area at all. Otherwise, at any time, a group of human traffickers or bounty hunters may be kidnapped and sent to the auction house or other places for sale. For the actions of these villains, Marine can only turn a blind eye because of the celestial dragons. There are only a few days left before this season's auction. Most of the auction items have already been sent to the auction house. Especially the slaves who are about to be auctioned, it is rare to eat good food these days. Otherwise, if you are hungry and skinny, you will not be able to sell it at a good price. Perhaps this auction house really has the background of celestial dragons in it. Obviously, there are many strong men with good strength being imprisoned, but there is not a single strong man guarding these commodities. So, after Khan found the 3 Boya sisters locked in a certain cage with his unique perception, his red pupils shrank suddenly. Boom, an invisible airwave erupted from Khan's body immediately. In the blink of an eye, this invisible airwave penetrated all obstacles and enveloped the entire auction house. All the people in the auction house felt an invisible wind blowing over them suddenly. Immediately afterwards, except for the 3 Boya sisters, the rest of the people, regardless of whether they were strong or weak, all rolled their eyes and fell to the ground, unconscious. "Sister. My lord, this is..." The commotion of everyone's collective fainting was very loud. The 3 Boya sisters, who were embracing each other and did not dare to fall asleep even though they were very exhausted, were suddenly awakened. Looking at this strange yet familiar scene, the second younger sister Boya Sandersonia suddenly spoke in a slightly trembling tone, uncertainly. "There's nothing wrong." Hancock also said excitedly. "This is the same conqueror's hockey as the Empress." Boom. Almost as soon as Setsuna finished Hancock's words, the sound of kicking the door came to their ears. Looking in the direction where the voice came from, the 3 Boya sisters immediately saw a figure wearing a cloak but not wearing a cap to hide their hair and face, walking in from outside. "Isn't it here?" Khan walked in openly and began to look around. He deliberately ignored the 3 Boya sisters who looked excited, as if they were looking for something to no avail, with a look of regret on their faces. Immediately, he was about to turn around and leave. Seeing this scene, Hancock immediately shouted anxiously, "My lord, don't go, please save us." Khan, who had his back to the 3 Boya sisters, paused slightly, then raised the corners of his mouth slightly, with a smug expression on his face. "Very good, the deputy is here." Khan didn't go straight to the 3 Boya sisters right after he came, just to get them to speak up. So he deliberately ignored the 3 Boya sisters, as if he was looking for others. If Khan showed that he came for them, the 3 Boya sisters who had learned a lesson from human traffickers would be more or less wary of him even if they were grateful to Khan afterwards. But it was different when they took the initiative to ask for help. As long as Khan extended a helping hand to them, even if they were to serve him for the rest of their lives, the three Boya sisters would be willing. During this period of time, I believe they have seen the darkness of human nature and know that once they are auctioned off, they will become the lowest slaves. Whether to become a slave like a domestic animal or to work for others, the three Boya sisters don't have to think about how to choose. This as Khan's plan. Oh. I saw Khan turned around and looked at the three Boya sisters in surprise. Is there anyone still awake? As if interested, Khan stepped to the cage where the three Boya sisters were kept, pretending to be surprised, and said, "You are so young and able to carry my conqueror's hockey. Who are you?" "My lord, we are from the Amazon Lily Kingdom, on Girl Island, and we are members of the Snake Pirates. The hope of being rescued is just around the corner." Although he has already suffered from the traffickers, Hancock is still very simple in his heart. He did not hide any details about himself, and pleaded pitifully, "Please save us, we will definitely be safe afterwards. Repay you." A member of the 9 Snake Pirates? Really? Khan pretended to be skeptical, looked at the three Boya sisters and said, "As far as I know, the crew of the 9 Snake Pirates are all strong hockey, and each captain is the king of the Amazon Lily Kingdom, who controls the conqueror's hockey's super strong. You guys have mastered the power of hockey at such a young age? And you who own hockey, how did you get caught by traffickers?" Seeing Khan know so much about Daughter Island and the Kuja pirates gave Hancock hope. So she quickly explained, "I am the only one of our 3 sisters who has mastered hockey. We are all intern crew members and are responsible for staying on board to guard. Because it is the first time to go to sea, I am full of curiosity about the outside world, and I was accidentally tricked off the ship by human traffickers. And then they were stunned and locked up, and sold to this place." "I see." Khan pretended to be skeptical, then folded his hands, and said conditionally, "I can save you, but there is a price to pay, are you willing?" Willing. Hancock didn't ask what the price was, but nodded repeatedly. "As long as you save us, we will do whatever you want us to do, my lord." It is not difficult to see from these words that the three Boya sisters have been abducted and trafficked for some time. During this period of time, they should have been beaten and starved a lot. The pride of the 9 Snake Warriors, and the sharpness of the strong hockey have been worn away. Coupled with the bomb collars around their necks, they didn't even dare to think of resistance and escape. Now that the hope of rescue is close at hand, no matter what they need to pay, they must reach out and grab it. "Don't talk so deadly." Khan first raised his hand to appease the excited Hancock, and then stated his own conditions. "The reason why I came here is because I received some gossip and came to recruit someone to be my crew. But now it seems that the gossip should be false." With a slight pause in his tone, Khan pointed out 3 fingers to Hancock, to be precise, the 3 Boya sisters, and said, "I can rescue you, but the price is that you have to work for me for 30 years. Because you are too young, there is no help for me now. I will save you and spend a lot of money and time to train you. So, you need to give me your best youth and peak strength. 30 years later, I will give you back your freedom. If you still want to go back to Daughter Island, I will also send you back to Daughter Island. Are you willing to pay this price?" Hearing this, Hancock, who was willing to pay whatever price just now, subconsciously fell silent. As for the 2 younger sisters, apart from being able to communicate with their older sisters, they even lost the courage to look directly at strangers by those traffickers. Therefore, they could not speak at all, but could only hug their sister's arms tightly. Hancock's next words will determine their future fate. Looking at the silent Hancock, Khan didn't urge him either. 30 years is not a small number. A person's life is just a few decades. If a person can live to be 90 years old, then 30 years is 1/3 of life. If life is short, 30 years is half of life. Working for a stranger for 30 years is no different from being a slave when neither of them likes each other. However, slaves have no human rights, and their masters can kill them at will. So, Hancock was silent for a while, and then recalled the beatings during this period, and imagined that after becoming a slave, the master, who took away the 3 sisters would abuse them even more cruelly, and might even insult or kill their sisters. The picture of the 3 of them, the smudged but still very delicate and cute little face, suddenly turned pale and colorless. Afraid that such a fantasy picture would become a reality, Hancock nodded vigorously to Khan. "My lord, we are willing." Hearing her sister's words, the 2 younger sisters, who were trembling slightly, had a bright look of joy in their eyes. If it weren't for being beaten in front of strangers, they would be speechless in fear. They just wanted to persuade their sister to agree. Obviously, they were all scared of being beaten during this time. If it weren't for the older sister who comforted them after being beaten every day, they might be beaten like koala. As long as you don't hit them, let them do anything. Very well, I will rescue you now. Khan, who has been peeking into Hancock's heart with the mind reader, knows that she really intends to use 30 years to get her freedom, instead of looking for a chance to escape after she is free, can't help but smile with satisfaction. Then a faint blue light appeared on his body surface, and his short hair was windless and automatic. Khan, who wrapped his whole body with telekinesis, entered a godlike state, as if he could control everything. As soon as he lifted his palm, the bars of the iron cage were broken by a pair of invisible hands. Stepping into the cage, Khan approached Hancock, who was sitting on the ground, hugging her two younger sisters, and reached out to touch the bomb collar around her neck. Through the cold collar, Khan could feel Hancock's tender body trembling slightly. In this regard, Khan smiled and comforted. Don't worry, I can unlock it without a key. Click, boom. As if responding to Khan, the bomb collar made a snapping sound like the bars of an iron cage. As soon as the collar shattered, the bomb inside was about to detonate on the spot. At this moment, the blue psychic shield wrapped the bomb collar, tore it off Hancock's body, and flew to the ceiling more than 10 meters high. When the psychic shield disappeared, a huge explosion immediately resounded. The violent airwave whizzed down, and was blocked by the huge thought force shield. Crack. Bang bang. Later, Khan removed the bomb collars of his younger sister Boa Sandersonia and third sister Boa Marigold. 3 consecutive explosions sounded, and it is believed that they have attracted the attention of the villains on Island 1. Don't struggle, I will use my fruit ability to take you out of here. After untying the bomb collars of the 3 Boya sisters, Khan lifted them up with telekinetic force and flew towards the ceiling where a huge hole was blasted. Soon, he left the auction house with the 3 Boya sisters. After more than 10 minutes, those who were stunned by Conqueror's hockey, as well as the surveillance phone bug used for monitoring, just woke up one after another. At this time, Khan has brought the 3 Boya sisters to join Robin. Robin already knew about Khan's plan. Seeing that Khan came back with the 3 Boya sisters, she didn't hesitate to ask, is this the 9-snake warrior the master is looking for? On the contrary, Robin cooperated with Khan and deliberately asked Khan why he brought 3 little girls back. Khan told Robin about his deal with Hancock. Must be in a calm state to use due to observation hockey. Hancock, who has been terrified all this time, can't use observation hockey at all now. She couldn't perceive emotions through observation hockey, and she couldn't find out that Khan and Robin were lying from beginning to end. The explosion just now should have attracted the attention of many people. Let's go back to the hotel first. Before Robin could introduce himself to the 3 Boya sisters, Khan carried them with telekinesis and flew towards the hotel street. Along the way, Khan avoided everyone with his unique perception, and returned to the 6th area smoothly. Everyone, please introduce yourself. After returning to the suite, Khan asked the Boha sisters to go to the bathroom to wash their bodies. Wait until they shower and come out in Robin's maid outfit. Khan looked at them and introduced himself with a smile. My name is Cross Khan. Next to me is my personal maid. Her name is Nico Robin. How about you? My name is Boa Hancock. Because the 2 younger sisters are still autistic and shy, Hancock took the initiative to introduce. These 2 are my younger sisters. The one on the left is the second younger sister. Her name is Boa Sandersonia. You can call her Sonia. The one on the right is Sonia. It's the third sister. Her name is Boa Marigold. You can call her Mary. Well, I remember. Khan nodded slightly, and said, in the next 30 years from now, you will be my maids just like Robin. From now on, you will be under Robin's control, and you will call me Master just like her. I see, Master. Hancock Kaido timidly. Don't be so nervous, I won't beat you like a trafficker. Looking at Hancock, who became nervous again due to the change of address, Khan smiled and comforted. Not to mention that if I treat you as slaves, I won't help you untie the bomb collar. And with my strength, even if I want to do something to you, you don't have the ability to resist, do you? Stay well by Robin's side and learn knowledge. After you recover your spirits, I will teach you powerful physical skills and help you improve your strength. Only by improving your vision and strength, and meeting bad people in the future, will you not fall into such a situation again. Looking at Khan with a gentle smile, Hancock seemed to feel his sincerity, and his tense body slowly relaxed. I saw her delicate and beautiful cheeks that had been washed away from the stains, and the baby fat had faded away. She forced a smile, and repeated what she said just now from the bottom of her heart. I see, Master. Looking at Hancock, who was smiling so reluctantly, and looking at Sonia and Mary, who had been holding on to her sister's arms, Khan and Robin looked at each other, as if communicating silently. They'll leave it to you, Robin, Con said suddenly ambiguously. Leave it to me, master. Robin nodded slightly, she knew what Con meant. The three Bo-Ya sisters are under too much psychological shadow now. Even if he regains his freedom, these shadows will not dissipate for a while. At this time, Robin, who is a senior, needs to make a move. How to eliminate the psychological shadow, Robin is definitely an expert. At the age of 8, all the people who were kind to her died, and then a reward of 79 million Baileys was offered, and she was either fleeing or on the way to flee every day. Compared with Robin, whether it is Nami or Hancock, or even Shirahoshi, their gloomy childhood is nothing. Because by their side, at least there are family members and people who love her. And Robin, if she hadn't met Con, her life like this would have lasted for 20 years. As a senior, Robin is very confident to help the three Bo-Ya sisters get rid of the shadow. So, the next day, Con handed over the three Boya sisters to Robin for training. He put on the cloak and returned to the lawless area. Then used the unique perception to look for human traffickers and bounty hunter groups scattered on various islands in the illegal zone. After finding the villains, Con stuns them with the Conqueror's Haki from a great distance. Finally, Con came to them, read their memories with the natural observation Haki, and began to gather information. Reading people's hearts is undoubtedly a magical skill. With such magical skills, even if Con has never watched One Piece, or has forgotten all the plots of One Piece, he does not panic at all. Every time he goes to a strange island, Con will collect intelligence by reading people's hearts, which has become his habit. After reading the villains' memories, Con was sure of one thing. That's Rayleigh and Sharky, who haven't settled in the Sabaody Archipelago yet. One is the illegal area, and there is no Shaki's rip-off tavern. The second is that the three Bo-Ya sisters have all been sold to the auction house. It is impossible for Sha-Chi, who is good at collecting information, not to know. Apparently, they haven't come to the Sabaody Archipelago yet. After reading the memories of several gangs of villains and having a little understanding of the Sabaody Archipelago of this period, Con came to Island number 1 again. The explosion last night did not make the auction house cancel the upcoming auction. Because they only lost 3 items. The people in the auction house, presumably the people behind the 3 items, came to rescue them. To be able to stun all the phone bugs, stun all the guards, and take those 3 items away without a sound, the other party must be a strong person. It may even be the captain of the 9 snake pirates. For hundreds of years, even Marine has nothing to do with the 9 snake pirates, and they are even more helpless. The other party didn't let go, or destroyed other goods, which is already a lot of adults. So, after sending someone to repair the hole in the auction house, calm was restored. After perceiving the auction house and not finding a person in charge with a relatively strong voice, Con planned to wait until the auction was over before taking Robin and the others to leave Sabaody Archipelago. Con did not let the other slaves go. First, he was not a saint, and second, he did not intend to spoil the auction. He wants to see if there will be devil fruit auctioned in this auction. The list provided to him by the black market did not include devil fruit. But that list is not the final list. The 3 Boya sisters are also not the finale items in the upcoming auction. Some extremely precious things, the auction house will probably not reveal them, but treat them as the last surprise. Therefore, Con wanted to see if the Paramecia sweet fruit that Hancock ate in the original book was also in this auction. If it is also in this auction, Con will cut the beard again. Time flies, and several days have passed in the blink of an eye. In the past few days, Con also secretly observed Robin's training of the 3 Boya sisters. Robin, who became a scholar at the age of 8, is a person with high IQ and EQ. The experience of fleeing for a year gave her a clear understanding of human nature and how to look at people. After getting along for less than a day, Robin saw the character and behavior of the 3 Boya sisters, and also understood why the traffickers were able to abduct Hancock, who mastered Haki. They are so innocent. Robin vaguely understands why there are so many young strong Haki in the 9 snake pirates and even the 9 snakes. Because people living in that country all have the so-called innocence. Such a pure person will be very focused no matter what he does. Practicing Haki is even more effective with half the effort. Helping such a pure person get rid of the shadow is a piece of cake for Robin. What made the 3 Boya sisters autistic and shy was the first experience of evil. If you want to eliminate the influence of evil, you only need to let them feel that good, that they release. Therefore, Robin did not show a stern look, that was as gentle as a sister. When chatting with the three Boya sisters to get closer, she also deliberately shared her previous experience, which made the three Boya sisters resonate with and favor her. Early the next morning, Robin took the three Boya sisters to the business district to find a relatively large clothing store and buy a lot of clothes for them. In just one day, Robin left an image of a kind, gentle big sister in the hearts of the three Boya sisters. Simple Hancock immediately regarded Robin as a friend. Sonia and Mary, on the other hand, regarded Robin as their older sisters, and occasionally dared to talk to her. Girls' friendship is as simple as that. Seeing Robin's operation, Khan nodded appreciatively. It was indeed right to entrust the three Boya sisters to her for training. Just when the relationship between Robin and the three Boya sisters was getting better and better. The auction for the first quarter of this year has finally begun. To avoid the shadow of the Boya three sisters, Khan did not bring Robin and the Boya three sisters, but came to today's auction alone. When Khan came to the auction, it was almost time to start. He could only sit in the back seat near the entrance. The seats in the back are high up, so Khan can see below at a glance, sitting in the only row, the celestial dragons that no one around him dares to sit with him. This celestial dragons is a skinny middle-aged man. Khan has no impression of him, and he is a character who did not appear in the original book. With just a glance, Khan looked away, watching the auction with a host on the stage, which was about to kick off. An hour later, Khan walked out of the auction room slightly disappointed. It is not difficult to see from his expression that Celestial Dragons did not buy the three Boya sisters and Paramisha sweet fruit from this auction at the same time. Paramisha, the sweet fruit, may not be obtained from the auction, but was given to Celestial Dragons by someone else, or won by Celestial Dragons from a bet with other Celestial Dragons. Khan felt a little regretful that he could not get the regular Paramisha sweet fruit. But after leaving the auction house, Khan quickly calmed down. In fact, even if Khan cut off Paramisha sweet fruit, he would most likely not give it to Hancock. Although Hancock has a high degree of compatibility with Paramisha and sweet fruit, in the future, with the charm and petrification of Conqueror's Hockey and sweet fruit, he can become a female pirate second only to Charlotte Linlin. Even if it is placed in the Four Emperors Pirates, it is still a player of the Emperor's deputy level. But there is still a huge gap between Hancock and Hancock, the true overlord of the sea. Khan, on the other hand, wants to train Hancock into Silver Rayleigh, Ben Beckman, Roranoa Zoro, the strongest lieutenant whose strength is no less than the captain, are only slightly weaker than the captain. If the devil fruit can be found, Khan will keep the Paramisha sweet fruit and use it to train a regular crew member later. If he can't find the devil fruit, he will give Paramisha sweet fruit to Hancock, so that her growth path will be the same as the original book. But now, the hope of getting Paramisha sweet fruit is almost zero. Khan had only one choice. So, after Khan returned to the hotel, he said to Robin, who was teaching the three Boya sisters maid etiquette, while also giving them extra lessons in popularizing common sense about the sea, "Clean up, we should leave here." "Yes, master." Robin didn't ask the reason, but brought the three Boya sisters who were slightly puzzled, and started to pack things. Soon, Khan took 4 girls in maid outfits and left the hotel under the envious eyes of some passers-by. When there was no one there, Khan used telekinetic power to lift the 4 girls into the air and flew towards a height of 7,000 meters. 10 minutes later, the Grandine passed through the sea of clouds and returned to Qinghai. Using wind control to accelerate the speed of the sailboat, Khan drove the Grandine and returned to the capital of 7 Waters the same way. But after returning to the capital of 7 Waters, Khan didn't stay for half a minute, but went straight to Long Island. Long Island is the last stop of the capital of 7 Waters, and it is also the next stop on the bright side of Senton Island. But between Senton Island and Long Island, there is actually another island. That is the legendary Sky Island, the other half of Gaia Island, which is now known as the Island of the Gods at an altitude of 10,000 meters, Apayado. And Khan's next stop is Apayardo. To be precise, it is Burka, which is also located in the Zishianding waterway like Apayado. That's right, the devil fruit that Khan prepared for Hancock is the Logia thunder fruit, which is said to be the strongest in Logia. The weak eat the mighty devil fruit, and they will soar into the sky. If the strong eat the powerful devil fruit, they will become monsters. Hancock eats Logia thunder fruit, her template is Kazaru with Conqueror's Hockey. In the future, she must be an admiral player. Once you master the advanced use of Conqueror's Hockey, you will be a superpower at the Pirate Emperor level. Khan has high hopes for Hancock, and hopes that she can become a gold medalist like Pirate King. There was a saying in the previous life, no one can single out 2 admirals. It means that no matter how powerful you are, you cannot defeat the combination of two admirals. Likewise, no one can single out 2 emperors. Before Khan crossed, even Luffy could only defeat Kaido one-on-one by constantly disconnecting. Moreover, Kaido has also experienced various wheel battles, supporting an island throughout the process. Once there are 2 emperors players in a certain pirate group, his every move will alarm all forces. The original Red Hair Pirates is such an existence. Therefore, no matter where Shanks goes, everyone will give him face, including Kaido. Don't give face. If you can fight one-on-one, you will definitely be abused if you are one-on-two. If Kaido doesn't give face, Shanks and Ben Beckman will insist on him. Likewise, as long as Hancock becomes a 4 emperors player, Khan took her out together, except for world government and naval headquarters, other forces would give him face. At that time, Khan will also be able to save face. So, Khan is a must for Thunderfruit. After the recording pointer is full of magnetic force, it can be moved forward or backward. For example, if the magnetic force is fully stored on an island, whether it is moving forward or backward, the record pointer will be attracted by the magnetic force of the nearest island. Khan, who was fully charged with the magnetic power in the capital of 7 Waters, drove the Grandine to Long Island in less than 2 days. Long Island is a very special island. Its shape looks like a long ring, and it is usually divided into 10 small islands by the sea, which looks like an archipelago. In fact, these 10 small islands are a whole. Every year when the capital of the 7 Waters ushers in the gods of water, Long Island will also usher in a great ebb tide. At this time, the 10 small islands of Long Island will become one island. The nomads on the island will also seize the opportunity and move to the next island. As a very distinctive island, the animals on this island are also full of characteristics. Because it is Chongwon Long Island, the animals here are quite slender, and the residents on the island also speak in elongated tones, and outsiders are easy to get angry when chatting with them. Not counting the capital of 7 Waters in the Sabaody Archipelago, it was the first time for Robin to come to such an island, and he was extremely surprised. The 3 Bo-Ya sisters finally realized the splendor of the outside world. Next, Khan's group spent 3 days on Long Island. After the magnetic force is full, just continue to retreat. After another 2 days, the pointer of the recording pointer finally pointed upwards like a malfunction. Seeing this, I have been watching Robin training the 3 Boya sisters for a while, and I have gradually participated in it. Apart from respecting him, the 3 Boya sisters no longer respect Khan, who is afraid of others, and immediately use telekinesis to support Grand Tine, soaring into the sky. Master, the record pointer seems to be malfunctioning. Robin, who came to make black tea for Khan, also noticed the change of the record pointer on the table, and said to Khan, who was reading 8 Trigrams magazine. No, it's not malfunctioning. While controlling the Grandine soaring into the sky, Khan flipped through the pages of the magazine and said, "It's just being attracted by the magnetic force of the island in the sky, so it's just pointing at the sky." Eh? Hearing this, Robin didn't respond. Hancock, who was exercising not far away and trying to learn the 6 forms as soon as possible, was slightly taken aback, looking up at Sky's path. In this world, are there islands floating in the sky? It's amazing, is this the outside world? Sonia and Mary also looked at the sky with bright eyes. It's normal. Khan still calmly explained. Since there is the Fishmen Island that exists below 10,000 meters, it is not a strange thing that there is a sky island that exists above 10,000 meters. Makes sense. Robin nodded slightly, agreeing with Khan's statement. As for how Khan knew about the existence of Sky Island, Robin believes that it should be the only observation Haki who saw it. In addition to not knowing about Khan's observation Haki, which has the ability to read memories and see through people's hearts, Robin knows about Khan's observation Haki, which can be integrated with telekinetics and see places at least hundreds of kilometers away. It can be seen even hundreds of kilometers away, so what is a mere 10,000 meters in the sky? Robin, who knows how powerful his master is, has already had a big heart that can keep calm no matter what he faces in the past 2 years. Such a state of mind also predestined that as long as Robin awakens observation Haki, he will have extremely high attainments in the future. Unlike this pair of extremely calm master and servant, the 3 Boya sisters are curious about what Sky Island looks like. Soon, their vermilion lips parted wide with amazement. I saw that the Grandine, which was wrapped in a huge mental hood, broke through the 7,000-meter White Sea at an extremely fast speed, and the 10,000-meter White Sea, and arrived at Angel Island. Looking at the sea is pure white, and the island is also white dotted with other colors. Just like a fairyland, it is beautiful and beautiful. It's so beautiful, as this Sky Island. The three Boya sisters stood by the side of the boat, looking in the direction of Angel Island with their eyes shining brightly. Let's go. Let's go down and see how the island at an altitude of 10,000 meters is different from the island below. The telekinetic power turned into an invisible big hand, and after automatically reefing the sail, dropping the anchor, and releasing the boat ladder, Khan took the four daughters of Robin and walked towards Angel Island. After crossing the White Angel Beach and Angel Avenue, Khan and his group came to the most prosperous lovely street in Angel Island. Without wings, are you from Qinghai? Welcome to Angel Island, Qinghai people, I hope you can have fun here. People from Qinghai, come here and have a look, we have Sky Island specialties that are not available in Qinghai. Khan and his gang have just arrived on Lovely Street, and they have caused a sensation on the street. The stalls and shop owners on the left and right greeted them enthusiastically. Master, these Sky Island people are so enthusiastic. Master, why do they have wings on their backs, are they all angels? The enthusiastic attitude of the residents of Angel Island frightened the three Boha sisters who were still afraid of strangers. During this period of getting along, the three Boya sisters who have seen Khan's omnipotent power and have become dependent on him subconsciously approached Khan, looking for a sense of security when they were rescued. Don't worry, kindness is always better than malice. Just like how he treated Robin, Khan took advantage of his height, raised his hand and touched the heads of Hancock and Mary on the left and right, and said, their wings are real. These Sky Island people should be compared with Murlocs and long-handed people. Humans of other races as well as other races. I see. The three Boya sisters were slightly stunned. Feeling the warmth from Khan's palm, and the enthusiasm felt by observation hockey, Hancock was no longer nervous, but looked at the people around him curiously. After a while, Khan took the four daughters of Robin into a specialty store, and the three Boya sisters suddenly understood why the people of Sky Island were so enthusiastic about them. It turns out that the currency of Sky Island is different from that of Qinghai. The currency used here is Ike, while that of Qinghai is Bailey. And 1 Bailey here is actually 10,000 I-grams, which is very valuable. So in the eyes of Sky Island people, Khan and his gang are rich. Sky Island shellfish is a good thing. After Khan came to the specialty store, he bought a lot of Sky Island shellfish. It was the first time seeing shells with special functions, and the four daughters of Robin couldn't put it down. In addition, Khan bought 5 of One Piece's jet skis, also known as Viba. Khan, who has a mind shield, is not afraid of seawater at all, and can also make Robin not afraid of seawater. So he and Robin can also ride Weeba, blowing the sea breeze on the sea. After buying the Sky Island shells and Vibra, Khan and his group were not in a hurry to go back to the beach of Revolving Heaven, and started to try Viva, but continued to visit the cute street. After a while, Robin, who never took the initiative to make a decision, suddenly took Khan's arm and pointed to a certain store. Khan took a quick look and found that it was a bookstore. He couldn't help but raised his hand to touch Robin's head, and nodded with a smile. Seeing this, Robin suddenly smiled slightly. Walking ahead, Robin brought Khan and Bo Ya to the bookstore and asked the boss if there were any books on history. Where there are people, there will be history. Robin is very interested in the history of Sky Island. After negotiating with the boss for a while, Robin bought several history books about Sky Island and planned to read them again when he returned to the ship. Next, Khan and his group went to other stores to buy Sky Island-specific clothing, Sky Island-specific housework tools, etc. Finally, Khan took Robin's 4 daughters into a nautical tool shop. Here, too, Khan found what he was looking for. That's the waterway map of the West Sky Summit. As we all know, there are 7 waterways from the upside-down mountain to the Sabaody Archipelago. In fact, there are actually 8 waterways. The 8th channel is in the sky. And this waterway is also known as the top of the western sky. In the channel of the West Sky Summit, there are quite a few sky islands. Among them, Angel Island and Burka Island are both islands located on the top of the western sky. After getting the map of West Sky Summit, Khan quickly found Burka's location. Because it is the next stop on Angel Island. Not counting Apayado, which was brought up by the soaring current, Angel Island and Burka Island are neighbors. Perhaps because of the adjacent relationship, after Enel destroyed Burka, he chose to come to Angel Island and occupy the Island of Gods, Apayado, which has a history of hundreds of years. Let's go. Let's have fun here for a few days, and then go to other sky islands. After buying the waterway map of the West Sky Summit, Khan was not in a hurry to set off immediately, but smiled at the 4 girls. There is luck and fate in this world. For example, Paramecia Lucky Fruit and Nika Fruit are the best examples. If there is no Traveler Khan, the next host of Logia Thunderfruit will definitely be Enel. This year, Enel is already 20 years old. This age is neither too young nor too old. He may or may not have eaten the Logia Thunderfruit. But Khan prefers that Enel hasn't eaten the Logia Thunderfruit yet. A person who has been bullied since he was young because he has no wings suddenly gains almost invincible power, and the first thing he must do is to take revenge on those who bullied him. 20 years old is another age when the three views are stereotyped and the body begins to reach its peak. But when Enel destroyed Burka, it was C-Circle calendar 1514, that is, 11 years later. With Enel's character, it was impossible for him to endure it for so long. So Enel in this period probably hasn't eaten Logia Thunderfruit yet. Therefore, Khan decided to take Robin's 4 daughters to play in Angel Island for 2 days, and then went to Burka Island under the pretext of visiting other Sky Islands. After buying the novelty Sky Island specialties, Khan didn't use his telekinetic power to carry them back, but asked the shop owners to move them to the Grandine. The residents of Angel Island certainly would not refuse the request of the local tyrant from Qinghai. After the things were moved back, the 3 Boya sisters went to experience Weiba for the first time. It was the first time for them to see such a small boat, and they were very curious about how to use it and what it felt like to use it. Robin opened the parasol, sat on an open-air sofa, and couldn't wait to learn about the history of Sky Island. As for Khan, while looking at the 3 Boya sisters with the natural observation hockey, he dismantled his own Viba and studied the internal structure. Khan plans to go to Apayado, the island of the gods, to find the extinct puffer shell and put it in his Weiba. Although there is only one word difference between Fengbai and Jetfengbai, their speeds are vastly different. The Weiba equipped with a wind shell can only sail on water at most. And the Weiba equipped with the blast shell can even sail on land. Speed? As also the gap between electric cars and locomotives. That kind of speed is what Khan wanted from a jet ski. It has to be said that telekinetic power is really an omnipotent ability. After integrating the natural observation hockey, it is an ability that is even easier to use than Enel's heart network. Enel's heart network can only perceive and eavesdrop, but to attack people within the range of perception, he needs to turn his body into lightning and release it, and the forward movement is too long. On the other hand, Ain's only perception is that he can not only perceive and see through people's hearts, but also use telekinesis to control everything within the range of perception, including living people. Although telekinesis cannot directly attack the inside of the human body, it can restrain the opponent, then control the surrounding stones or branches, and shoot them out as bullets or sword blades, killing the target at a super long distance. If you can't break free from the shackles of Khan's telekinetic power, then all those trapped by the telekinetic power will die. In addition, telekinetics is also a god-tier skill in daily life. To do housework or fetch things, Khan doesn't need to get up at all, just a thought. The same is true when you disassemble the Weiba now. With the help of telekinesis, Khan quickly disassembled the Weiba, let all the parts float in the air, found the position of the wind shell, and quickly put it back together. Then take it apart again, take out the wind shell inside, and put the parts back together. Wei Ba, who lost Fengbai, suddenly became a decoration. Khan disassembled the Viba again, and put the taken-out wind shell back together. After twisting the accelerator, Khan nodded in satisfaction after discovering that Weiba had regained its kinetic energy. So, Khan wrapped his body with a psychic mask, and started playing in the sea with the Viba. The 4 Weiba cars turned around the Grandine. During this period, the 3 Boya sisters fell into the sea many times due to unskilled operation. But they soon surfaced again, and with the help of Khan's telekinetic power, they continued to ride Weiba, or chased one after the other, or simply blowing the sea breeze. As for Robin, he is already immersed in the sea of books. When the 4 of Khan came up, Robin was still reading a book. So, Khan was a rare deacon, made a pot of black tea for Robin, and prepared some snacks. Seeing this scene, the 3 Boya sisters suddenly felt guilty. How remiss. As maids, they don't know anything except relying on Master and Robin. 9 snake warriors, strength is beauty. Not only the 3 Boya sisters, but even the other Hydra warriors have been learning swordsmanship, gymnastics, archery and hockey since childhood. The dream of every 9 snake warrior is to join the 9 snake pirates and go to sea with their empress. Like this kind of life skill, if anyone learns it, he will be laughed at instead. But now, the 3 Boya sisters feel that they should change. In addition to improving their strength, they also have to learn the life skills of a maid from Robin. Inadvertently discovering their thoughts by reading people's hearts, Khan couldn't help laughing. Unexpectedly, being a deacon would make the three Boya sisters make up their minds and take the initiative to change themselves. Master, this Sky Island is not easy. When dusk came, Robin finally came out of the world in the book. But her face was full of amazement. I saw Robin looking at Khan, who was sitting not far away, playing with the image shell, secretly taking pictures of Robin and the three Boya sisters, and said seriously, "There is a land island at an altitude of 10,000 meters. Land islands?" Hearing this, Khan has not responded yet. Actively moving out the furniture to clean it, the three Boya sisters, who wanted to learn how to do housework, suddenly widened their beautiful eyes. Looking at the pure white sea outside, and then at the white angel island with no land, Mary asked in a daze, "How does the land grow at a height of 10,000 meters? Stupid, how can there be land growing in the sky?" Hancock rolled his eyes at his sister, and complained, "This is the most basic common sense. That's right, that land island actually came up from under Qinghai." Robin nodded slightly, pointed down and said, "Below Angel Island, which is Qinghai where we are located, there will be a huge water column rising into the sky every year. This water column is also known as the sky current, and its intensity varies from year to year. Some may rush to an altitude of 7,000 meters, while others may rush to more than 10,000 meters. And the land island that appeared at an altitude of 10,000 meters was washed up hundreds of years ago." After all, Robin pointed to a direction and continued, "This direction is where the land island is located, and now Sky Island people call that land island, Island of the Gods Apeado. As the name suggests, this is the residence of the god of Sky Island, the ruler of Sky Island." Exactly. Following Robin's words, Khan nodded and said, "When I first came to Sky Island, my hockey had already seen that island. Rest well tonight, tomorrow I will take you there to explore." Khan will choose to play in Angel Island for a few days, in order to go to Apeado. The purpose of going there is for the Golden Bell and the Golden Township. Yes, the Golden Country is also the purpose of Khan's trip. Although there are more than a dozen rooms full of treasures in the three lower cabins of the Grandine, Khan still wants to evacuate the Golden Country, and he has the ability to do so. To become one of the overlords of the New World, one must have a top power. Every top power must have its own base camp. If you want to build a base camp, you must have enough money. There are a lot of treasures behind the Grandine treasure curry, but in front of the Golden Country, this amount of money is nothing at all. As long as they move out of the Golden Country, the Cross family will have no shortage of development funds for the next 10 years. After going to Burka Island to find Logia Thunderfruit, Khan did not return the same way, and returned directly to Qinghai from there. So before leaving, Khan decided to evacuate the Golden Country, and by the way, reward Robin, who has been serving him for the past 2 years. Yes. Seeing what Khan said, the three Boya sisters suppressed their curiosity and prepared to wait until tomorrow to explore. And in Robin's beautiful eyes, there is also a rare look of anticipation. Nothing to say all night. Early the next morning, Khan and his gang drove the Grandine and quietly arrived at the Island of the Gods, Apeado. Then the three Boya sisters who boarded the island quickly showed disappointment. Just like the Amazon Lily Kingdom, most of Apeado's area is primitive. The golden town of Shandora has also been turned into ruins in the past few hundred years. Apart from a palace where the Sky Island gods and guardians live, the island is a deserted island inhabited by wild beasts. Compared with Apeado, Amazon Lily Kingdom is at least a country, and it has its own city and people. I found a good thing, I'll take you to have a look. After going to the island, Khan released his unique perception, and soon found one of the goals of this trip. Then he said to the 4 daughters of Robin next to him. Of course, Khan's eyes were mainly on Robin. Under the doubtful gaze of the 4 women, Khan used his telekinesis to lift them up, and then flew towards the sky, reaching Vine in the center of Apeado Island. Soon, Khan brought the 4 daughters of Robin to the top of the sky, reaching Vine. Passing through a white cloud, a huge golden clock hidden in the cloud suddenly came into the eyes of Khan's group. What a big clock! Wait, the clock is covered with gold. Is it gold-plated or pure gold? If it is pure gold, how much gold is needed for such a big clock? Looking at the huge golden clock, the 3 Boya sisters were all amazed. This is. The ship was full of treasures, and Robin, who had no feeling for money, saw the text of history under the golden bell at a glance. To other people, it was a ghost drawing talisman, but to Robin, it was an extremely familiar ancient text, which made her face full of surprise. 3 years, she finally found a piece of the historical text. Go. This is what you told me back then, what you've been looking for. Khan patted Robin on the delicate back, and sent Robin in front of the golden clock with telekinetic power. Thank you, Master. The Setsuna whose body was floating in the air, Robin said to Khan with a full face. Obviously, Khan's good thing is not this giant golden clock. It is the text of history under the golden bell. Bringing them up is not to take away the golden bell, but to let her read the text of history. This feeling of being cared for made Robin, who was already in the shape of a Khan, more convinced of this master. Master, has Robin been looking for that golden clock? Hancock, who couldn't understand the conversation between the two, was puzzled. No, what she's looking for is the base of the golden clock. Khan shook his head and explained. The steel with the special symbols on it. Ah. That stone tablet is called the historical text, and the special symbols on it are ancient characters. Robin is one of the few scholars in this world who can understand ancient characters. While Robin was deciphering the content of the historical text, Khan popularized the historical text and ancient texts to the three Boya sisters. I see. The three Boya sisters were slightly stunned. Seeing that the three Boya sisters were so curious, Khan also lifted them up with telekinetic power, and flew them to the golden bell. So, Robin was earnestly deciphering the historical text, while the three Boya sisters surrounded the golden clock, curiously looking at the clock body in the historical text, and reaching out to touch it from time to time. Master, I've finished reading. Robin didn't keep the four of Khan waiting. After deciphering the content of the historical text, she immediately said to Khan, on this historical text, it is recorded that the location of Poseidon, one of the three legendary ancient weapons, is located 10,000 meters below the Sabaody Archipelago, the Fishmen Island. Robin, who has already determined that Khan is the master of her life, has no secrets from him. Even if Khan's ambition is to awaken the ancient weapon, Robin will definitely help him. This is the difference between being saved as a child and being saved as an adult. The young Robin, she is a pure white paper, it is easy to be colored by people who treat her well. When Robin grows up, he is an adult who has three views, has a lot of experience, and is good at thinking. Children and adults think differently. The kid's Robin only knows that Khan is super nice to her, so she should be super nice to Khan, even super nice. Robin, an adult, can think about whether her kindness to Khan is really good, and whether it will harm Khan instead, so she chooses not to tell the content of the historical text. Ancient weapon. Hearing this, Khan pretended to be surprised and said, the ancient weapon, which was dubbed the title of God in the legend, actually exists. Well, I'm also very shocked. Robin nodded slightly, a gloomy look flashed in his eyes. It was also at this moment that Robin knew why O'Hara ushered in the Buster call, and was later accused of trying to awaken the ancient weapon. It turns out that some historical texts really contain information about ancient weapons. And these scholars are the key to the awakening of ancient weapon. It was a pleasant surprise. Khan's insight into people's hearts passively read Robin's heart. However, he did not explain that the fact that the world government eliminated O'Hara was not only because the scholar was the key to awakening the ancient weapon, but also because of the blank 100-year history. And compared to awakening ancient weapon, world government is more afraid of someone finding out the blank 100 years of history. Robin, here's another piece of text. At this time, Hancock's voice suddenly brought the complicated Robin back to his senses. Looking in the direction of the sound, I saw Hancock pointing to somewhere on the steel, and there was indeed an ancient text on it. I came here to bring this article to the end of the world pirates. Gol di Luogia? Subconsciously shouted out the content of this text, and when he said the last sentence, Robin's beautiful eyes shrank suddenly. One Piece, he also came to Sky Island. And why did he write ancient characters? Of course it's because of everyone loves Kazuki Odin. Khan grumbled inwardly. But on the surface, he sighed. As expected of the Grand Line, any island can experience exciting adventures that West Blue doesn't have. I'm getting more and more interested in New World, the strongest sea. One Piece, Gor di Luogia, sister, I seem to have heard of this name before. It is said that he is the king above all pirates, but unfortunately he is dead. The three Bo-Ya sisters discussed Luogia. Since there was no one to explain her doubts, Robin could only suppress the shock and doubts in his heart. At this moment, Robin seemed to see the fog that shrouded the truth of the world. There are countless secrets hidden in this world. After viewing the Golden Bell, Khan and his gang returned to the ground from the top of the Babel Vine, and then explored the forested area of Apeado. After a while, they saw a huge amount of gold among the ruins. It's a lie. Are these all gold? is it real gold, or fake gold? If it is true, why is it thrown here like garbage? Are the people of Sky Island so rich? Seeing the huge amount of gold mixed with stones, the hearts of the three Boya sisters were immediately shocked. Even the three Boya sisters who came from a windless area and had no surrounding islands to trade with them, and could only go out to snatch supplies from pirates or merchant ships, knew the importance of gold. And those Sky Island people who regard Qinghai people as rich people just put such a huge amount of gold here. What kind of operation is this? Gold should all be real. Robin said very calmly. The currency used by people in Sky Island is Ike. Pele is very valuable here, but that doesn't mean gold is also so valuable. Sky Island has no land. The only land is this island. Most of the tools used by the people of Sky Island are special shells. They may not have metal here, so gold is almost like waste. I see. The three Boya sisters were stunned for a moment, and then Mary's beautiful eyes lit up and she said, since the gold is real, aren't we getting rich? What? Khan smiled and nodded, as long as the gold is removed, we won't have to worry about money for at least 10 years. Great. Mary and Sonia suddenly burst into cheers. Hancock folded his arms, pretending to be calm. Getting along with each other these days, Hancock found himself really inferior. No matter what they encounter, Khan and Robin are calm and calm, not too handsome. On the other hand, they were surprised when they saw everything. Comparing the two, the three sisters are just like country people. Although they are from the windless zone, they are indeed country people. But after removing the shadow, Hancock gradually regained his pride, never allowing himself to show such an embarrassing side again. So, she subconsciously imitated Khan and Robin. Hancock also wanted to be as handsome as Khan and Robin. Seeing the two sisters picking up pieces of gold as big as stones, Hancock seemed to think of something, and suddenly asked Khan, Master, each piece of gold is so big that the cabin of the Grandine can hold it. Good question. As if he didn't expect Hancock to react so quickly, Khan couldn't help giving her a thumbs up, then looked at Robin who was also smiling, and said with a smile, this requires us to use our secret weapon. Secret weapon? Hancock's head was slightly tilted, and a big question mark seemed to jump out of his delicate and cute face. Khan didn't answer the question immediately, but said, Sonia, Mary, come back first. After the two women came back holding the gold brick, Khan said to Robin, Robin, take that thing out. Yes, master. Robin nodded slightly, and then, under the curious gaze of the three Boya sisters, opened the silver metal box that never left his hand when he went out. Why does Robin keep carrying the silver metal box? Obviously, there are very precious things in that metal box. And that very precious thing is actually a devil fruit. This devil fruit is a loot that Khan got a few years ago. It is Paramisha Chenchung fruit. The fruit of the strong city can also be called the fruit of the castle. As the name suggests, the person who eats this devil fruit will turn his body into a castle. Capable users can also shrink any objects, including themselves, and hide them in their bodies. But if you go in by yourself, the capable person's body in the outside world will become a mobile tank. This devil fruit, the original work, is also the fruit ability of Capone Beeg. In fact, if Khan's parents in this life were not killed, Khan would also give this devil fruit to Capone Beeg. But after the parents in this world were killed, Khan regarded Capone Beeg as a toolman. Therefore, after he got the Paramisha Chenchung fruit, he didn't want to give it to Capone Beeg. Instead, prepare to go to the Grand Line, recruit new maids, and develop them into your own mobile warehouse. Now is the time for the mobile warehouse to be born. Khan took the devil fruit from Robin, looked at Sonia and Mary and said, this fruit is the devil fruit known as the secret treasure of the sea. If you eat it, you will gain special abilities. And the ability of this devil fruit is to turn you into castles. Not only do you have the same defensive power as a castle, but you also have a space as big as a castle in your body. As long as you eat this devil fruit, you can easily take away the gold here. But this devil fruit can only be eaten by one person. Sonia, Mary, which of you would like to eat this devil fruit? Hearing this, Sonia and Mary, including Hancock as the older sister, all surrounded her. Looking at the devil fruit in Khan's hand, Mary asked in surprise, is this the devil fruit that Sister Robin mentioned? Sonia was also curious. Is it because Sister Robin ate this kind of fruit that she has that special ability? If you eat this devil fruit, will you have the defense of the castle? Hancock read Khan's words for a while, and suddenly said to Mary, Mary, aren't you going to major in armament hockey? Then you can eat this devil fruit. Hey, let me eat? Mary pointed to herself, then subconsciously glanced at the second sister next to her. I also believe so. Sonia nodded in agreement. For the third sister, who is only 9 years old this year, both Hancock and Sonia are worried. In particular, his own curiosity has caused his 2 younger sisters to be implicated. Hancock has always felt extremely guilty. So if there is any good thing now, she only wants to give it to her sister. Among them, the youngest Mary is the first. Seeing the inner thoughts of the 2 women, Khan directly handed the Paramecia strong city fruit to Mary, and said with a smile, "In this case, then I will wrong Mary, and she will be our mobile warehouse in the future. I won't let you down, master." Glancing at the smiling Khan and Robin, as well as her 2 older sisters, Mary felt a burst of warmth in her heart. As a warrior of 9 snakes, after she got rid of her psychological shadow, she didn't twist Nini, put down the gold brick in her hand directly, took the devil fruit from Khan, and said with a firm face. Immediately, Mary opened her mouth and bit the devil fruit in her hand. Then the handsome Mary's face suddenly turned purple. Just when she made a vomiting movement and wanted to spit out the pulp in her mouth, Khan suddenly reminded. "Don't spit it out, just take a bite, devil fruit tastes like this." Gollum. After hearing Khan's words, Mary swallowed the fruit with difficulty. Then put on a look of fear for the rest of his life, looked at the remaining pulp in his hand, gasped and said, "Ha! Ha! What kind of fruit is this? It's too bad to eat, isn't it? Is it sour?" Seeing Mary's flamboyant appearance, both Hancock and Mary asked curiously. "It's not sour, but many indescribable flavors are mixed in it." As if remembering, Mary's face turned purple again, and she felt that she was not well. Khan and Robin, who have been there, did not gloat. Khan even changed the subject and asked, "Mary, do you feel any changes in your body?" Hearing this, the attention of the 3 Boya sisters was instantly diverted. Mary first showed doubts on her face, and then she said with joy, "I can feel it. My body has changed a lot. Master, sister, look at it." Due to her lack of culture, Mary was also unable to describe her changes in words. She picked up the gold on the ground, and under the gaze of Khan and others, she turned the gold into the size of a grain of rice, and then put it into her body. Yes, put in instead of take in. I saw a thumb-sized door opened on Mary's body. Behind that door is not a body structure, but a brightly lit castle. The inside of Mary's body has now not only become a castle, but also has its own lights. Such an incredible picture can only be achieved by devil fruit. Very well, Mary, you will be our financial director in the future. Watching Mary throw the gold the size of a grain of rice into his body through the small door, Khan immediately smiled with satisfaction. The inside of the body turned into a building, so amazing. Sonia was amazed at first, and then said expectantly, "Mary, can you put us in too?" Yes. Mary nodded vigorously, then put her hand on Sonia's body. In the next second, a transparent white mask appeared out of thin air. Sonia, who was wrapped in the mask, suddenly shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye, and then flew into Mary's body through the open door. "Master, sister, do you want to go in and have a look?" After putting Sonia in, Mary asked Khan and the others again. "Then go in and have a look." Khan nodded. The same goes for Robin and Hancock. So, the 3 of them became smaller and entered Mary's castle. The castle in Mary's body has a large area, with a width and length of 100 meters, and a height of 80 meters. It is divided into upper, middle and lower floors. What's even more outrageous is that there is no generator in the castle, but there are lights. But after asking, I found out that the power supply here is all Mary's physical strength. As much electricity is consumed, Mary will consume as much physical strength. And Mary can also modify the design inside the castle according to her own ideas. For example, she thinks that the castle has 3 floors and too many rooms. It only takes one thought to turn the 3 floors into 1 or more, or make other rooms disappear. That is to say, Paramecia Jiancheng fruit comes with a different space with a width and length of 100 meters and a height of 80 meters, which can be freely controlled by capable users. I just don't know, after the ability user becomes stronger, will this different space become bigger, or will it always be this size? However, this question may need to be answered in the future. It's a pity that the height of the different space is only 80 meters. If it is also at the level of 100 meters, it will be able to free up the area for Mary to store the Grandine. Robin, on the other hand, brought the 3 Boya sisters over to discuss with them how to renovate the castle. The area of the castle is large enough to accommodate a large fleet. There are only 5 people in Khan's group, so there is no need for such a large area, and only 1 layer of the castle needs to be left. Now that Mary is free to transform the castle and she can appear in the castle, Robin decides to transform the castle into their second home. 2 floors were vacated to store treasures, and the remaining floor was transformed into a new home for 5 people. Since Khan and his gang are still in the ruins of Apeado, the 4 daughters of Robin are not in a hurry to start rebuilding immediately. After looking at the castle, Khan and his group return to the outside world. Next, Robin and the 3 Boya sisters work together to collect all the gold from the ruins into the castle. And Khan temporarily separated from Robin's 4 daughters under the pretext of going to get the golden bell. In fact, he sneaked into the temple of the gods where the gods of Sky Island resided, and stunned everyone with the Conqueror's Haki. Using the reading of people's hearts to peek into memory, Khan quickly found the place where the puffer shells were stored and exterminated the outside world, but the god of Sky Island collected hundreds of puffer shells and took them all away. In addition to Weeba, the use of the wind shell is very many. Even Enel's Arc Proverbs was able to fly from Sky Island to the moon with the help of thunder and lightning because hundreds of blast shells were installed. If there is no accident, these puffer shells are in the original book, and they were taken away by Enel. And now, Khan unceremoniously cut off the beard. Using telekinetic power to hold up hundreds of blast shells, Khan used telekinetic power to take down the golden bell on the top of the sky, reaching Vine from a long distance. Master, are these also Sky Island shells? Wait until after Khan returns. Looking at the astonishing number of squirrels floating behind Khan, the 4 daughters of Robin couldn't help but stop their movements. Mary asked subconsciously. Robin walked over, took a squirrel shell and looked it up, and said, "Is it a special Sky Island shell that is not for civilian use?" "What?" Khan nodded, and said, "This is the extinct wind clam on Sky Island, and it has a wind force many times stronger than the wind clam." After that, Khan looked at Robin again and reminded, "Be careful, even you can't stop the wind from the gust of wind." "I see." Robin nodded slightly, dismissing the idea of trying it out. The same is true for the 3 Boya sisters who came over with a look of curiosity. After putting the blast shell and the golden bell into the castle, Khan and his gang continued to search for gold. With the help of Khan's telekinetic power, all the gold hidden at the bottom of the ruins floated up. Then, Khan controlled the gold to fly towards Mary. Mary only needs to reach out and touch, and the gold will be wrapped in a transparent white mask, shrink at a speed visible to the naked eye, and fly into the castle inside her body. When Khan began to exert force, the gold in the ruins was quickly looted. Next, Khan took the 4 daughters of Robin to find the huge python known as the Lord of the Sky. Using Conqueror's Haki to stun the python, Khan and his gang entered its body to search for gold. After coming out, Khan quickly found the original Sky Island residents who wanted to give to the Straw Hat Pirates, but Bellamy gave Doflamingo the golden pillars, and all of them were shrunk down and put into the castle. After searching for the last gold, it was almost dusk at this time. Before you know it, another day is coming to an end. So, Khan and his gang returned to the Grandine and sailed away from Apiardo. While the 4 daughters of Robin returned to the cabin to prepare dinner, Khan drove the sailboat into a cloud path, and gradually distanced itself from Angel Island in Apeado. The end of this cloud road is not the cloud cliff returning to Qinghai, but the passage connecting the next island. Sky Island is different from land islands in Qinghai, there is no magnetism here. If you want to go to the next island, you must use the cloud road. The end of the cloud path that Khan chose is Burka Island, which is located at the top of the western sky, just like Angel Island. Master, are we not revolving the island? Mary, who was in charge of serving the dishes, came to Khan empty-handed, and then used the fruit ability to enlarge the dinner in the castle and put it on the open-air dining table. While looking at the vast white sea, she asked, "What?" Khan nodded and said, "Angel Island and Apeado are just that big of a place. We've already visited the past 2 days. It's time to go to the next island to see if there are any other Sky Island specialties." "I see." Mary was stunned for a moment, and then went back to the cabin to continue helping. After Robin and the others finished their dinner and came out, they didn't ask Khan where they were going next. Obviously, when these girls were working in the kitchen, they all talked about this aspect. Robin, who has seen the nautical map, also knows that the next stop of Angel Island is Burka Island. Robin is also looking forward to the next Sky Island. But her expectations were destined to be in vain. After all, not every Sky Island is as special as Angel Island. Next to it, there is Apeado, which was sent to an altitude of 10,000 meters hundreds of years ago. It has the legendary Golden Town, historical text, and even a message from One Piece. The special place of Burka Island is probably the design drawing of the Ark Proverbs, and the Heartnet, which is the cultivation method of observation hockey. There are even observation hockey training methods, which shows that the ruler of Burka Island and the strength of the guards should be above Angel Island. Next morning, the 4 daughters of Robin woke up from their sleep very early. But when they finished washing and came to the deck, their master had already started the daily morning training. Seeing that Khan, who is as powerful as a monster, is practicing hard every day, the 4 daughters of Robin feel admiration and are full of motivation to practice at the same time. Even if the master works so hard, they must not hold back and become a burden to the master. So, the 4 girls of Robin simply warmed up and started physical training. First physical fitness, then flexibility, after igniting the body, began to practice Marine 6 styles. By the way, Hancock has learned 2 moves and 6 moves, which deeply shocked Robin. These 2 moves and 6 moves are Iron Body and Paper Arts. And Khan and his group left Sabaody Archipelago until now, not even half a month. It took Hancock less than half a month to learn 2 moves and 6 moves. What kind of concept is this? You know, Robin started to practice 6 moves 2 years ago, but now she only mastered 1 move, finger pistol. In other words, Hancock surpassed Robin's 2 years of hard work in less than half a month. Witnessing Hancock's use of Iron Body and Robin of Paper Arts, I finally understood why Khan traveled thousands of miles from West Blue to Sabaody Archipelago to rescue the 3 Boya sisters. Because of Hancock's talent, it's a bit outrageously strong. In fact, Hancock mastered 2 tricks and 6 moves so quickly because she took a chance. Among the 6 styles, Iron Body and Paper Arts are actually semi-finished armament hockey and observation hockey. Hancock mastered armament hockey and observation hockey at the age of 12. It is not too easy to practice these 6 styles. As for the other 6 styles, Hancock can't do it quickly. Because her physique is not strong enough. The ages of the 4 daughters, the oldest is Hancock's 12 years old, then Robin's 11 years old, finally Sonia's 10 years old, and Mary's 9 years old. If they grow up normally, it will take 6 years at the fastest, and 10 years at the slowest, for the 4 daughters of Robin to help Khan. At this time, Khan can't wait. So, after he was going to get Logia Thunder Fruit for Hancock, he helped them open it. It only needs to pay a small price, which can reduce their efforts for several years, or even 10 years. At that time, the main force of the Cross family, even if there are only a few of them, should not be underestimated. It's finally done. Just when Robin's 4 daughters began to practice, Khan showed a satisfied smile. I saw Khan clenched his fist in his right hand, and the fist was covered with a black substance that could only be seen after awakening hockey. And this substance is the embodiment of will, which is necessary for the strong armament hockey. While stroking Hancock's head, Khan secretly used the natural observation hockey to read her memory. From Hancock's memory, Khan successfully obtained the practice method of 9-snake hockey. After imparting the hockey practice method to Robin, Khan began to practice armament hockey, wanting to complete the last hockey. It took Khan only 3 days from the beginning of the practice to the success of the practice. There is no doubt that this is an incredible speed. But Khan has no pride. Just like he can't bear the title of the strongest supernova in history, learning armament hockey in 3 days is not the fastest in history. The person who practiced armament hockey the fastest in the original book is the son of One Piece and Luffy's foster brother Potter Cass D. Ace. How long did it take Ace to become armament hockey? 1 day. Yes, just for 1 day. Awaken Conqueror's hockey at the age of 10, learn armament hockey in just 1 day. Ace is an unreasonable talent monster. Had it not been for eating Logia Mera Mera fruit, I would have become dependent on elementalization. If you simply follow the path of physical skills and follow Garp's side as a marine, Ace is definitely the most suitable person to inherit Garp's mantle. Compared with Ace, Khan's speed is not worth showing off at all. Of course, this is for him. If Hancock knew that Khan didn't know armament hockey at all before that, he would be shocked to see this picture. It's a pity that there is no if. Hancock didn't know at all that Khan came all the way to save them, not only wanted the 3 of them to work for him, but also for hockey of the 9 snakes. Not long after Khan had just mastered armament hockey. After a night's voyage, the Grandine finally arrived at Burka Island. At the end of the cloud path is a gate into Burka Island, similar to the Paradise Gate on Angel Island. After passing through the gate, there is the port of Burka Island. Mooring the Grandine on a pier in the port, Khan and his gang got off the ship. Seeing the arrival of 5 wingless Qinghai people, the residents of Burka Island, just like the residents of Angel Island, greeted Khan and his group warmly. This picture should not be too ironic. If one of them has no wings, they will be despised and bullied. The Qinghai people who have no wings are regarded as fathers by them. No wonder Enel couldn't resist destroying the Sky Island after eating Logia thunderfruit. If it were Khan, who had been bullied for 10 or 20 years and suddenly gained almost invincible power, he would take revenge on these people. Knowing why these people are so enthusiastic, the Khan group bought a local map without changing their expressions, went to the largest hotel on Burka Island, opened the most luxurious suite, and then began to visit this Sky Island. On the surface, Khan went shopping with Robin's 4 daughters. In fact, Khan has released his unique perception, looking for Enel's position. Sky Island people without wings are not too easy to find. Moreover, Enel is 20 years old this year, and already has the outline of more than 10 years later. After a while, Khan, whose perception was large enough to cover several Burka Islands, found Enel. As soon as he found Enel, the corner of Khan's mouth twitched slightly. He was pretty sure now that Enel hadn't eaten the Logia thunderfruit yet. One is that Enel is still outside the city of Burka Island, and he does not dare to approach crowded places for fear of being bullied by Burka residents. The second is Enel's breath, which is not even as strong as the 4 Robin women. A 20-year-old adult's aura is not as strong as that of a teenage girl, or even a 9-year-old girl. This means that Enel is a piece of cake. After confirming that Enel hadn't eaten the Logia thunderfruit, Khan was very happy. If it weren't for the fear of scaring the 3 Boya sisters, Khan couldn't help but become a Tianlong now to further enhance his physical fitness. Then release all the telekinetic power, float all the objects on Burka Island, and find Logia thunderfruit as quickly as possible. Even so, Khan was rarely distracted in front of Robin's 4 daughters. Because at this time, he has released the natural observation Haki with all his strength, and is looking for the trace of Logia thunderfruit on Burka Island. In addition, Khan also uses the group to see through the hearts of the people, eavesdropping on the conversations of the residents of Burka Island every second, eavesdropping on their voices. Master, did you find something? Khan's distracted appearance was quickly noticed by Robin. It was the first time for Robin to see Khan look like this since they met. Knowing that as a qualified maid, she shouldn't ask, don't ask, she still couldn't help but speak out. What? Khan came back to his senses and said with a half-true and half-fake excited smile. Just now, my Haki eavesdropped on an incredible piece of information. If it is true, our harvest from this trip may be greater than that of the Golden Land. The 3 Bo-Ya sisters widened their beautiful eyes and almost blurted out some news. But after seeing Robin winking at them, the 3 Boya sisters immediately swallowed the words that poured down their throats. Glancing at the pedestrians around, Mary whispered excitedly. Then why are you shopping with us, Master? Go get busy now. Well, Master, you don't need to stay here with us. Robin also nodded in agreement, and said, not to mention Hancock's strength, it is enough to protect us. And your fruit ability, as well as your unique perception, can be very good even over a long distance. Protect us. In this case, let's separate first. Khan had exactly this intention. So, Khan's gang split up at a junction in the street. The 4 daughters of Robin continued shopping, while Khan left the city and came to the wilderness of Burka Island, where he began to focus on looking for thunderfruit. The only perception that incorporates telekinetic power is just like the perspective of God. Khan's gaze can not only easily cover the entire Burka Island, but also consume as little as Enel's heartnet. If he wanted to, he didn't have to turn off this perception for 24 hours. Moreover, Khan's perspective can also be enlarged by consuming physical strength. The reason why it consumes physical strength is because the output of mental power is increased. With Haki and physical strength exhausted, Khan's eyes were mainly focused on the wilderness of Burka Island, looking for any place to hide a fruit. The eyes turn clockwise, starting from the northern part of Burka Island. After passing the Sky Island tree with a tree hole, if you can see the picture inside the dark tree hole, Khan will increase the output of telekinetic power, and pull the whole tree out of the cloud at a super long distance. If the gaze passes through some ruins with large gaps, Khan will move the whole ruins up. Wherever the gaze passed, either the tree was uprooted from the spot, or the ruins rose up in the air, or the cloud with cracks was torn apart by a pair of invisible hands. This incomparably supernatural phenomenon scared countless Sky Island beasts to flee one after another. Even some of the guards patrolling outside were quite frightened. This includes Enel, who happens to be hiding in the northern wilderness. Since Enel is the next Logia thunderfruit capable user, he is also the most hopeful person on Burka Island to find Logia Thunderfruit. Therefore, the first place Khan started to look for was the area where Enel was located. Perhaps it was Xuanjiuxuan's luck that helped. I thought it would take a few days to find Khan from Logia Thunderfruit. It took only a few hours to find a tree growing in the dark, even without sunlight, in a certain large gap in the ruins of a certain piece of ruins full of the breath of time. Rotten blue-white fruit. The top of this fruit is covered with special spiral patterns. This special fruit is known as the strongest in Logia Thunderfruit. Finally found. As soon as he found the Logia Thunderfruit, Khan, who had been consuming for several hours without a trace of sweat on his forehead, showed a rare look of excitement on his face. Whoosh! Without the slightest hesitation, Khan got up and disappeared in place. The ear-piercing sound of arrows piercing through the air suddenly sounded from this area, and quickly moved to the northern area of Burka Island. Khan, who was incarnated, stopped before reaching the northern area of Burka Island. Because when he activated, the Logia Thunderfruit wrapped in the psychic shield also flew towards Khan at an extremely fast speed. One person and one thing will soon meet on the way. After catching the falling Logia Thunderfruit, Khan returned to the city on Burka Island. On the way, Khan used telekinesis to restrain Robin from a huge distance. It was a code that only Khan and Robin knew. Upon receiving this signal, Robin, who was shopping for clothes with the three Boya sisters, didn't change anything on the surface, but a bright light flashed in his beautiful blue-black eyes. Then she gave Hancock another wink. After getting along during this period of time, Hancock, who has developed a good understanding with Robin, immediately understood the meaning of this senior who is 1 year younger than himself but is like a sister. So, the three Boya sisters pretended to be dissatisfied and shook their heads. Then he put down the clothes in his hands, and walked out of the shop with Robin under the gaze of the shop owner full of regret, and headed back towards the hotel. By the time they got back to their hotel suite, Khan was already there waiting for them. Hancock, eat it. Without waiting for Mary and Sonia to ask curiously, Khan threw a blue and white fruit at Hancock, who was following behind his sister. But as soon as the fruit was shot, the blue mind shield appeared out of thin air, like an invisible big hand, holding the fruit and flying over the heads of Sonia and Mary, and floated in front of Hancock's eyes. Looking at the special spiral pattern on the fruit, the three Boya sisters who saw similar fruit yesterday suddenly asked in surprise, "This is devil fruit? Master, the good news you overheard is this devil fruit." Robin also rarely showed curiosity, repeating what Khan said a few hours ago, saying, "Incredible information, a harvest greater than the Golden Land. Could it be that this devil fruit is very precious?"